So hello there. Welcome to the old 77. It's a safe place in an unsafe world. I've got everybody else muted. Sorry, guys. So this one is going to be completely different. So I apologize if you're tuning in for something like haha and great times. You can check out episode 145. That was a pretty good one. 146, we're going to we've danced around it a lot, fellas. I got you on now. We've danced around it quite a bit. Our fathers. Let's talk about this one. The abuse and the bullshit that our dads did to us, and then how that affects us now as men, how that affects us with kids moving forward. How can we not keep that cycle of violence rolling? And before we start, I want to thank our Patreon patrons. This guy right here, Mr. Biscuit Straight.
That'd be me.
Mr. Co-host.
Mr. Co-host.
Yeah.
Biscuit Straight. Also, JT, the Paranormal Son. We've got our boy Dub IZ. In the Groove. Check them out. Vintage, vinyl, records, and more. The Jeff City Paranormal Society. Go check them out.
You got the last one?
And the homie, Kev.
You got it. Nice.
There you go.
Good job,
You know,
Monty.
when you throw off
Thank
the
you,
rhythm,
guys.
I can't even remember.
See, I know. That's how it is.
It's tough. It's a challenge. Well, I'll tell you this much. It's easier to remember it at the beginning of the show.
Yes, it is.
So.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. So, fellas, let's start off. What happened to you? What happened to your dad? Your dad messed you up. Your dad messed you up. Your dad messed you up. My dad messed me up incredibly bad. I can start it off if you want. I mean, I've talked about it, but so me and Dave have talked before. Like, I wish my dad wasn't there growing up.
Yeah.
Like, he was a real righteous asshole. Dave, on the other hand, his dad wasn't there.
Right.
He wishes his dad was there. So
Certainly.
how was that?
You know, challenging at times, but also it was normal for me.
Yeah.
Since age 5.
Let me ask you this then. How was your dad perceived by you? And then how was your dad perceived by others?
It's hard for me to answer the second half of that question because my dad lives 500 miles away. And
But you still knew people who knew your dad, though, right?
Yeah, most people have nice things to say.
Yeah.
But what was the first part of that question? Say that again, Scott.
So how do you perceive your dad? Like, how do you feel like you and your dad are
I feel like we are okay at the moment.
now? But,
Yeah.
But growing up, how were you?
Do you talk to him?
Yeah, I texted him today.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly we talk about like surface level shit, like Cardinals baseball. Usually, that's like the
Just
one.
baseline type
I
deal.
mean, not always,
Like-
but that's like the one thing that we both have in common.
Yeah.
That we both
You find
love.
common ground.
Yeah, and music too. He's a music lover too, so we talk about music a lot too.
Well, that's good that at least have that relationship.
Well, now you have that. But
Yeah.
growing
Yeah.
up,
It's complicated, dude.
when you were growing up and you were becoming the Dave you are now,
yeah.
you didn't have that relationship with him, though, did you?
I mean, I saw him once a year for 2 or 3 weeks in the summer,
That's got to be rough, dude.
and that was it.
What was your opinion of your father growing up?
Well, you know, man, I'm 40 years old, and there is still a small part of me that looks at my dad as a superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even for all the
Always.
shit that he got wrong and for all the times that he wasn't there still is that little part of me that hopes,
when
So
the chips are down.
Your
Yeah.
dad was a superhero.
well,
My dad was the super villain then.
so you never had a small part of you that looked at your dad as like a superhero?
Long time ago. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a long time ago. I remember that all went out the window when he was showing me how to mow one time.
Oh God!
And I ran over his hose or something. I think I've talked about this. And he flipped it over and grabbed the hose chunk and smacked my ass the whole way to the house and then told me he wished I never was born.
Yeah, goddamn.
And so it's like, you know what? Not a fan of you anymore. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
yours
old
is
were
a
you?
lot worse.
So
than
mine was terrible. I was 8, 9 maybe. I was under 10 or under.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're at that
Yeah.
like sponge age.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, like everything that
Well-
you say and do.
Well, if I'm
molds
being
you
honest,
now.
man, my dad was a fucking tyrant. Like, this dude was a gaslighting champ. Like, I could never do anything. Like, you can't do that. Well, what are you doing? What are you doing with that over there? You can't fucking do that. Put that shit up. Like, I learned how to tile on my own, and he was like, what are you doing? You can't fucking do that. Well, I'm going to learn how to do it. He didn't like that.
So that reminds me of a quote because I went through all fatherhood quotes today. And that reminds me of this quote. I believe that what we become depends on what our fathers teach us at odd moments when they aren't trying to teach us. We are formed by little scraps of wisdom.
Right.
Or in your case, little scraps of
I got little scraps of hate.
badness, yeah.
But it always came at like inopportune times. Like I understand why my dad was the way he was because now as an adult, because he was freshly disabled. You know? He was dealing with that. He had a wife that he needed, but who had a brand new baby, so that tore him away, you know?
Yep.
So you were an outlet for his frustration.
Yes. I was the target of the focus of the
Yep.
the anger, you know? I was the result of it. Because when they conceived me, he was totally fine.
Yeah.
So
was-
within 9 months, he went from totally fine, like able to move his bodies left, right, all full capabilities, to completely paralyzed on the right side of his body, loss of motion and feeling and everything in this hand. It was just dead.
Yeah.
I mean, in all
Curled
fairness,
up.
that's also got to fuck with your head.
Oh, absolutely. And this leg. He couldn't,
Yeah,
couldn't move it.
I mean, I hate to say it, but you know, you're not right. You know, you're dealing with so much stuff at that
Right.
point. You
Yeah.
know, I mean,
but
yeah.
you know, I didn't know that then.
no,
Sure.
no,
Now,
Obviously, yeah.
oh my
Fuck
God,
no.
now I do.
Yeah.
yeah. Now you've come to.
Yeah.
Well, you've got experience in life now, so you're
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
oh, yeah.
I'm the age that he did all the shit that I remember.
Right.
You know, like I remember one time my dad got so mad at my mom that he grabbed a phone, one of those old rotary dial phones, and smacked her across the head with it. You know.
My dad never did nothing like that. My mom would have fucking murdered
See,
him.
that's just it. I remember me and my mom had to get out of there, and we jumped in the car, and I begged her for an hour and a half. You got to leave this dude.
Yeah.
You know, we got to get out of here, Mom. You got to leave this dude. You got to go.
Yeah.
She never did. We went right back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I know that was a thing back in the day.
Yeah.
You just, you know, divorce wasn't a thing.
No.
You know, to be the housewife to your husband was.
But even that,
That
like
was
she
the
was
thing.
caregiver, everything.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. She had a lot. She had a fucking.
But dude, that's like, man, that was like when dudes were dudes, you know? Like he was being the
Yeah.
best he could.
That's
because,
not being a dude. That's
No.
that's the most pussiest shit you can do, though.
But that's exactly what it was when men were men.
Yeah, you didn't care.
That's just my my dad would hate the fact that I called myself a dude, but when men were men, and he was only acting that way because of his father. When
Right.
Yeah.
you don't, you know, guys that generation, they never showed love or compassion
Right.
or
Yeah.
anything. That was a sign of weakness. You want that shit, you go in the house and talk to mom.
Yeah.
There were some
Yeah.
guys that. What's crazy? We're talking about this. Some guys I overheard were talking, and another person that we all know. These guys are older, probably in their definitely in their 60s for sure. And this other guy, he's 25. He's, you know, his fiance's getting ready to have a little one here soon. He's like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna take like a week or two off, to, you know, to be with the little one. The exact same shit I did. And they're just like, fuck that. You need to be working. And I'm like, I overheard it, and
Yeah.
it kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, so I just listened. And it's like, I remember back in the day, whenever she fucking did it, and you went up there, you saw the kid, and you went back and you finished your fucking job.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got up the next morning,
Yeah.
and you went to work. If she really needed something, she'd call you. I'm
That's
like,
because men provide.
it is.
Men provide.
but
We
at
don't
the-
do anything else.
Yeah. But
Now,
at
I
the
will
same
say,
time,
at the
fuck.
same time, in all
all you
fairness,
get, man.
there's
Yeah.
some kind of pride, though, that comes with that. You know what I mean? Like, when you are able to achieve something similar, you know what I mean?
If
like
you're the
to be
breadwinner.
the you
But
know
to
what I
be
mean?
the breadwinner, though, you're absent.
But
to,
at the
to
same
strive
time-
and make those goals, you're not there for milestones for your children.
Right.
You know, you're not there to see them play Little League, or you're not there to see them in the school play, or
Yeah.
you don't get to spend every night with them, you know. And granted, not everybody wants to spend every night with their kid. I get that.
No, yeah.
You know, but shit, I spend every night with my kid, and I don't want to spend every night with him. I mean,
Yeah,
I
heard that.
understand, you know, but
Yeah.
Hell, I'd be a house husband if I had some CEO level wife.
oh, I mean, look at
yeah. Heard that.
I
I
love
don't
this
know.
guy.
I don't know how.
How did you
how-
get that lucky, man?
know,
How did
bro.
you go from managing her at Petco?
How the tables have turned.
Yeah, man. I was the breadwinner for like a week, and then she leapfrogged me pretty quick.
But, you know, it's nice. I will say it's nice that these days that's an option, because back in their day, it wasn't even an
No.
option.
It is an option, but
That
at
would have
the
been
s-
insulting in
Yeah.
my father's day.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I mean,
Insulting.
there
man.
are very few families these days that can survive with just one
It's-
of
it's
the
a-
parents
Dude, there's
working.
no way.
It's a different day today, though.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yep.
in my grandfather's day, like my grandpa was a milkman. I know. It's, the jokes write themselves. The old man was a milkman, right? And he delivered milk like I think 2 counties away, and he would leave on a Saturday so he could be there Sunday morning to get the milk truck and then deliver. And instead of getting someplace or coming back with the truck, he would park the truck a quarter mile from the house and he would sit and watch my grandma.
What did he do when the refrigerator came along, or they got better, and then they were able to, in that job?
He
died?
became a boilermaker.
Oh.
And then he got my dad and his brother on. So my dad was a twin, so he got my dad and his twin brother on. And then he had an older girl who's my aunt Evelyn. Everyone in that family's long passed. So yeah.
Biscuit, what did your dad do to you?
I mean, that's a hard part because like I had a really good childhood.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Oh, don't get me wrong. I had a good one too.
Oh yeah, I mean, like my dad, like consistently provided. Like, I mean, we went on trips. We did a lot of things, you know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, I really like my dad. My dad whooped my ass. I deserved every fucking time.
But you know what? It seems like every kid wants to fight their dad. Did you fight your dad?
No,
Oh,
I wouldn't fight my dad.
Look at the
Fuck
grin,
no.
though. Look at the grin.
Ah,
Yeah, I
fuck
kind of
no.
want to fight him,
That
though.
dude
Is that because?
whooped my-
Oh, you think he would whip your ass?
Now? No.
No.
I'd beat that old motherfucker.
Yeah.
But like back in the day, like no. I mean,
What
it-
if he
it was-
bucked up and took a swing at you now, though? You wouldn't give him 30%.
Say your dad
No.
got senile and took a swing at you. You gonna let it connect?
No, I'd take his
Well,
ass
no,
down.
if he was
There you go.
senile, I wouldn't. But
Subdue him.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
subdue
If he was
him.
senile,
Choke this dude out.
Well, he
okay?
ain't gonna remember it. I'm
No.
just saying.
But no, I mean, yeah,
he ain't gonna remember you kicking his ass. Go ahead, son, have fun.
fuck it, yeah.
Get a few kicks in when he gets down.
But yeah, no, it was great. It wasn't a physical thing. It was never a physical thing.
Yeah.
There were a lot of emotional stuff that I know that I do to my children now.
Yeah.
I do that too, man.
So-
that was my dad's jam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad always had a look. Like the biggest thing is like we tormented my mother. My brother and I just were fucking dicks. I mean, we would do shit and then she'd be like, "You want me to call your dad?" I'd be like, "Whoa."
No, hold
Yeah.
on.
Hold
Let's be
up.
reasonable.
Oh, that's when it got.
Let's yeah.
So
Oh,
dad
yeah.
was clearly the disciplinarian.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, and yeah. But my dad always had big trucks.
Yeah.
Always big lifted trucks, big tires, but they would howl going down the road. To this day, I am 28 motherfucking years old, and that sound scares the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Dad's coming
Triggers
home.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it would literally be a thing to where like you would hear like that howl, and it would just like whoa, and as it would get that slow, you just be like, "Fuck, here
Yep.
we go."
Here he comes.
Because I mean, my dad worked construction.
Right.
Yeah.
So from like the age of like when he was 15, like he dropped out of high school.
Yeah.
Mine did
and-
too.
And immediately went to working for his dad who did construction, and that like that's what he did. And I mean, my dad definitely instilled a very good work ethic in me.
Yeah.
And and like he never told me how to be a man, but he taught me how to be a man.
By example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my
Now, was your dad the type that was like, boys don't cry, be
Yeah.
tough, go outside,
Yeah.
rub some dirt on it?
yeah. My dad,
Because that was mine.
yeah. The only time like I ever remember my dad actually giving me a hug, like, and not being like, I would be the one to give him a hug.
Right.
Type deal, where I know he really didn't want it, was whenever his dad died.
Yeah.
And really fucked up is the place I work is where he died. And
Oh,
I
really?
and I walked through it constantly where my grandfather passed away. And I still remember like really vividly, like my mom had when she was taking us out to my grandma's, and she just turned around and she just told us to start praying. And I was like, oh shit, like,
Man.
like we just don't pray.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, everything will be okay. And I'm like, fuck, like everything's not gonna be okay. And I'm like 13 maybe.
Old enough to remember.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Very impressionable.
I know exactly where I was.
Yeah.
At Mark Trout Sea Storage,
Mm-hmm.
going towards Russellville, right there. We turned around right there. We're headed back, and she's like, I'm gonna take you to your grandma's, and who lived in town. And I was like, okay. And she's like, never mind. We're going to the hospital. I'm like, okay. So we get there, and my dad just runs up to me, bawling, and he grabs me and hugs me, and he just says, buddy, everything's gonna be okay. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah,
Like,
you knew.
everything is not okay.
Because
Dad.
this has never
Yeah.
happened before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then his dad died, but it was a blood clot that let loose to his heart. And
Oh,
he said
shit.
you could have had the best surgeons in the world.
No,
Just
absolutely.
gloved, ready, nothing you could do.
It was just his time.
Yep. And he said it's the best way to go, and I let go of my dad, and like we went, and like Dad literally fucked me up from 13 to 28
Yeah.
years old.
I can see that, man.
I mean, being that so much of a rush of emotions of, my grandfather passing away, my dad, like seeing the emotion from him, but my dad was definitely the person that would grab you by the arm, take you outside. It was like, I'm gonna fucking beat you.
Yeah.
Like, quit your fucking shit. And I was like,
Yeah.
yes, sir. And
My dad wanted to be that guy, but he couldn't.
Yeah.
Dude, I wish I could put the fear of God into my kids like that.
I do that.
See,
I do
that's
that
something
to my
you can't
kids.
do to modern kids, I don't feel like.
It's hard,
know
dude.
better.
It's my kids all the time.
Does it work?
Yeah. Oh
It'll
yeah.
only work for so long.
Yeah, that's
Charlie is 4, and still I can look at her and be like, your mother told you to go put like your toys away. Do it.
Yeah.
And she'll be like, okay, Dad. And she'll get it. And like Cooper, like right before coming over here, even like they had a bunch of stuff out, and Kate was just like on him. She's like, I told you guys, hey, Grandma and Papa are coming over. Like, pick this stuff up.
Come on, let's do this.
Pick this up. And like I come up from downstairs and I close the door because I could hear it. And I go, your mother told you all. And like I cuss at my children.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I don't play this shit of like, hey, I'm like, your mother told you to pick this shit up.
Yeah.
And you're going to fucking do it right now.
Yeah.
I go, I will not tell you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, look at me. And I was like, get to it. Like, there's no hesitation. Let's do this. And they pick up. And Kate's always like, I don't understand how you do it. And I was like, that is my father.
Yeah.
Like, that's what.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Or he would get
right
a
there.
point.
Yeah.
And he'd get this squint. And he'd point his finger at you, and you're just like, shit, big guy.
So maybe that's
Hold
why
it.
I can't terrify my kids, is because my dad wasn't there to
never had
terrify
that.
me.
You never had that, though. But you know what?
You never had the terrifying.
You're probably onto something, though.
Yeah.
Your mother was there. Your mother was very comforting, very loving. Mom was always there for you. Mom was your biggest supporter.
Yeah, but Mom also had the wooden spoon for when things went bad.
Right, but that was because you needed it.
It was
deep
few-
down, you even knew that.
It was few and far
Do you
between.
raise your
As a
voice at your
person.
kids?
All the time, bro.
You cuss at your kids.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I do. Especially when they piss me off.
Well, I mean, that's, of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
I do.
Yeah, we're getting off topic on that.
I'm not
one,
proud
though.
of it, but yeah, I do
Yeah.
when they piss me off. We've had a couple bad nights in a row with our son Jack.
Yeah.
We're supposed to read to him every night for like 20 minutes before bed, and then we have to write it down in their little log book.
What would your mom do for you in that instance? Because she ain't log booking shit. She's probably going to the store, getting a pack of Winston's, thinking about not coming home.
Dude, my kids have it so much better than I had it as a kid.
All of us.
For number one, they've got both of their parents.
Right.
Yeah.
Number two, we live in a nicer house than I grew up in. My kids actually get to go on vacations. I did not go on a single vacation as a kid.
Really?
Not really.
I always
mean,
went
you
to
know-
mom and dad's stuff, and it was always like old-timey horses.
I mean, I would go to visit my dad, so that was kind of like a vacation, but not just.
But not a vacation.
We never really went like on
Yeah.
a family vacation or like
No,
a
we never
vacation
did.
with my mom. And I don't blame my mom for that. She was a single mom. She worked for the state. She
Right.
couldn't afford to take us on vacations.
fuck no.
What is it Dustin said? The state doesn't want you to have money?
The state doesn't want you.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. I just don't trust the government. It feels like they do everything they can to stomp all over the lower class and everything and keep them from going up.
Yeah.
And then they do everything they can to make sure like that the rich people don't have to do shit.
Yeah, it does seem that way sometimes.
And
Yeah. I mean, that's like I like me with my dad. Like I am just like my father.
Yeah.
I've got 3 trucks sitting at home. My dad has 2.
Jacked up?
One of them at least.
Do they
is,
make
yeah.
the sound that scares you?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that black
You're
truck
Batman
does.
then.
Do you
Holy
scare?
shit.
Do you scare yourself when you rev
Yeah.
your engine up?
So yeah, the most
Drop a P
yeah.
comes out.
So that the truck I have a tattoo of and that black F-350 I have was my grandfather's truck. He bought it in 06 and it was in 07. And then he had passed away. Like he barely put like any miles on it, and he passed away. And then my dad got it, and then I bought it for my dad because he was using it as a work truck. And I was like, "You're a fucking idiot!
Yeah, you need
Like
to.
it's way too nice of a truck, homeboy." Like,
Yeah.
it's a 2007 with 83,000 miles on it.
Well, plus it's got sentimental value at this point.
Lots of sentimental value.
Yeah.
But Yeah. What's insane is like, my dad had one of his trucks down, and then the other one he won't drive. I mean, it's an $80,000 truck that just sits there and pulls a camper.
Mm-hmm.
But it's his truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is dulled to a fucking T. I love cleaning that fucking truck.
Mm-hmm.
And but like I let my dad drive that black truck, and I was like, hey, I know you're one truck's down, like drive my truck, drive black truck. And the look on his face when he would drive it, like seeing it, I'm like I know how you feel, because like as fucking crazy as it is, there'd be times like I'd be driving the truck and like you'd almost like want to like look over. And, like, I could feel like there was something there. And I chalk it up to my grandpa riding with me.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, it makes me happy.
Yeah.
Like, shit like that is like,
Well, that's all that matters, man, is if it makes you happy.
Yeah. And I know my dad definitely gets that exact same feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like your dad's mellowed out quite a bit.
He has in his old, like, as he's, like, I say old age, but as he's gotten older, like, I mean, this dude, like, literally, like, my mom works with special needs kids.
Mm-hmm.
And she works for a school, so she doesn't make fucking shit. My dad is like literally the breadwinner.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad has made a very good living for himself, and he himself is well off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's good. He played all of his cards right.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it gave me something to look forward to and look up to. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, this dude could do it. Dropped out at 15,
Right.
and
Right.
owns a lake house. Has like a 4,000 square foot house, huge fucking shop, 2 trucks, big camper. I mean, not to brag about the shit he's done, but I'm like, you have the
He
proof.
has all that, yeah.
You have
Yeah.
the proof in the fucking pudding, man.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, you don't need to work. He picks and chooses his work now.
So how old is your dad? We'll just say roughly.
56.
So, okay.
Oh, he's still pretty young.
So he's still young then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, so to think that he dropped out in this time. Like my
Yeah.
dad was in in the 60s when he dropped out,
Mhm.
Yeah.
late 50s, early 60s. He dropped out of high school to do the same.
Yeah. And
So what would you say is like the number one thing that you have taken away from your dad? Like the number one good thing?
today it's hard work. Hard work fucking pays
Work
off.
ethic.
Just having a good work
Yeah.
ethic?
I mean, literally just work hard. But, and at the same time, which like this is like the harder part to say was like, so I have an older brother
Mm-hmm.
who did no wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, so
I was a fucking
You've talked
shit.
about this.
Yeah.
You were the asshole and he was the golden boy.
Yeah. And I mean, it is what it is, and I know it is, and it is that way to this day.
yeah.
And I mean,
do they recognize it?
they've got to. I know they do.
No,
they
I
know
mean, do they
do.
physically like talk to you
No.
about it and recognize
I
it
don't-
with you?
I don't talk to them about that.
That's just we don't talk about that.
The relationship I have with my father now is what I've always wanted.
Good.
Well, at
So
least
I
you
don't
have that.
want to ruin it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that.
You
I
know,
get that.
like
Don't stir the shit.
for sure. Like, I mean,
Well,
yeah,
I'm glad that you actually have that.
yeah, and I feel bad at times because I know there's a lot of people who don't.
Yeah,
Who are just like, I fucking hate my dad. And it's like right now, I absolutely love my dad. And
Good.
I get
I mean-
both of those sentences though.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, because for me, for sure, like, there's part of me, like, I've written multiple letters to my dad telling him I did never want to talk to him again.
Oh, I'm sure you have.
My sister has too. So for me, it's like that's one side, and then the other side is like, well, he's my dad. I should try to salvage whatever relationship that I can have with him. Plus, it's not about me. It's not all about me anymore
Yeah.
because now he's got grandkids.
Right.
And so I'm having to learn how to handle
Yeah.
things with grace.
Yeah, that changed my mom. My dad never got to see my kids or me get married or any of that.
Yeah.
But that and that's another thing, man. He died so young that it's like a ticking time bomb for me. Like if I can make it past this guy,
yeah,
I'll be all right. But the older I get, the more like him I turn into.
Mm-hmm.
I get grumpy and angry and fuck you, I ain't moving for you.
Yeah.
You want me to get up? No, I don't see that happening, type thing. That ain't happening. I've got a voice now. When I was a kid, I never had a voice.
Do you have a goal?
Because of him.
Do you have a goal on how long you want to live?
No.
69.
Hey!
Yeah.
I mean,
Nice.
I would like to die in a 69.
Yeah.
You know what? 420 for me. I'll take 420.
420.
420 years.
That
Just wanna
sounds
die there.
that sounds fair.
I'll be happy if I make it to 80 for sure.
I don't want to make it too terribly far.
I don't want to make it too terribly
My
far.
grandpa
either.
died in his 60s.
Well, if I'm looking at this realistically, my mom died at 78. My dad died at 62.
Yeah.
So
They didn't have the
pro-
health care we've had in the last few years.
No, and they didn't really take care of themselves either. But
What if it's in your cards?
if that's in my DNA, man,
Yeah.
So you've always got to look at your parents like that's how you're aging is how they're aging,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Like three of my grandmother's brothers have all died from heart attacks.
Yeah.
My grandpa, blood clot let loose.
Mm-hmm.
Like my dad has had some blood clot type shit going on, and I'm like,
See, that's hereditary. That's
Yeah.
I don't. That's
two-
why I don't go to the doctor. I don't need no negativity like that in my life. Fuck it.
I feel kind
There's
of.
our T-shirt.
I
Of the
feel
week.
kind of similar to that, but we have to take that into account too, man. We just have to.
For sure, but
If and for me, I have other factors involved. Like I don't want to go back to that shit. I
Yeah.
ain't getting poked and prodded again. But at the same
Exactly.
time, man, if something happens and like my foot falls off, I'm going to the fucking doctor.
Yeah.
most definitely.
But
But I also look at it as like every day that I wake up is a day to make something of it.
yeah,
That literally how I'm going to live my day today is going to be in good faith. I love everyone, and I'll leave an impact that if I die tomorrow, you'll remember that.
Yeah,
put
But I-
that shit on a shirt
Yeah.
right there.
for sure, man.
And just try not to be a piece of shit anymore with how much stuff is going on
Yeah.
and how horrible everything is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like, and especially like my kids. So one of the worst times, and looking back on it now, but like, I mean, I was down to start a fucking single stack Glock, like had it fucking in my head that it was going through my head,
Mm-hmm.
like easy peasy. That
Was
was
it-
the first time.
Can I ask you a question? Was that before or after you had kids?
That was way before.
Way before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Never mind.
And,
then.
and shit was hard there.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
then things were just like, then mom was like, oh, let's see a counselor. And then I saw a counselor, talked to him. And for any man who thinks to see a counselor,
That's something that's real. I think.
it is. For me, it didn't work. I'll be the one.
But it's
like,
because you were talking to a counselor.
Yeah.
You have to be able to talk to another human being that connect with, and trust, I feel like.
For sure.
Or that shit ain't going to work, man.
Yeah. And I had two counselors that I played games with. Like literally like mind fuck games.
Yeah.
One, like when I found out the first one was a total fucking crock of shit to me, that they really did not care.
Yeah.
That as long as I paid that $60-$70 of each fucking session, however it was,
Yeah.
we were solid. Like I tried to talk about like family and like,
Yeah.
father stuff, and it never went anywhere. So I was like, all right, well this chick is honestly just trying to get a pair of tits out of me.
Yeah.
Really.
Probably.
She needs to go to fucking Cabo.
Probably.
That's cool. So I
Had a
told
new
my-
set of golf clubs for the dude.
Told my mom I was cool.
Yeah.
So they're breaking that trust. Everybody that you've seen has broke that trust.
Yep.
Then.
Went to another guy, and this
So
was
is this all stuff related to your dad that you're going to?
yeah. And went to another guy a couple years later, and because my mom knew like some stuff wasn't right. It was a mixture of like my grandfather and my dad.
Yeah.
I mean, two literally. I mean, I have their initials tattooed on me.
Mm-hmm.
And went to another guy, and he, he's talking. I was like, man, I don't know why she brought me here. It's like, dude, I feel great. I think she might be the one. Kind of.
Needs it.
Dude,
You were.
fucking bought it.
You were a manipulative little
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
I was a fucking salesman from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Dude was like, okay, and I mean, he talked to my mom, and my mom was like, hey, you check out. Fast forward through years and more and more years of depression and just mind fucking yourself of never being good, never being able to stack up to someone else in someone else's eyes, led to about like, then, Kate and I got married. One of the happiest times of my fucking life was meeting my wife, and, and then us having kids. And then that's when shit gets fucking hard.
Oh, God.
To have kids is literally, not to discourage anyone, but is the hardest fucking thing you
It
will
is.
do. I've lifted some fucking heavy weight,
It is.
but kids is fucking hard.
Yeah.
Hands down.
And let's hold that one then. Let's not talk about kids yet.
Yeah, but that also like led to like, you know, like just you get stressed. You get, you know, trying to do good for your wife, trying to, you know,
Trying to be a man.
trying to be a man, trying to stack up to things. To me, setting the cruise control in a truck that I had bought, climbing in the passenger seat and leaving my seatbelt off. And it's just me in the truck and just let it go. And fuck me for being a car guy and making sure my shit is always straight and tight. And it drove for like a mile and a half, fucking
man.
beautifully straight. I ended up driving off into like the ditch, scared the living fuck out of myself. And that's whenever like shit just, like everything flooded. Like so much shit just hit. And I was like, fuck, man. Like, you're a dumb fuck. You know, like how's that going to feel? Like, you know, your dad lost his dad. Now he's got to bury his fucking son. Your wife doesn't have a husband. Your kids don't have a fucking dad. You want to be that kind of a piece of shit, you know, to where like you know, that was definitely a selfish thing, all because of like holding on.
Yeah.
For no fucking reason.
No, man, I get
and
it.
to things of like literally that you couldn't control in the past. And it literally stemmed a lot from like trying to be a good son to my dad and knowing that if I just was me, we would definitely come to terms with each other. Like we would do it. And ever since then, like once I let that day go, and I let every single emotion that was there, die.
You don't have to let it die.
I let them die. I let those emotions die. They're done.
Sometimes those emotions, you need them.
You
need to address them.
Yeah. Those were demons that literally they ran. I had an idle mind, and an idle mind is the devil's playground.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man.
You know,
For somebody like me that has a very addictive personality, boredom is my worst fucking enemy.
Yeah.
I start spiraling out. I think of different scenarios, then I think of the different scenarios that would spawn off of those.
Yeah, me too.
It's always a what if.
That's my shit too, man. I think that might be everybody. Because to be honest with you, that's what I see my therapist.
You know I got that from my dad.
I do, man. Like there's a lot of days where I feel like I'm one bad decision away from everything completely unraveling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I totally get that.
Yeah.
But once you can figure those demons out and control that chaos, you ride the lightning at that point.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
And you literally conquer that shit. And that's what I say. Every day you wake up is a new fucking day. It's a new breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
What happened yesterday is what happened yesterday. You can't change the past.
Right.
All you can do is look forward to the future.
God, that's easier said than done.
Boys, you want to take a quick break?
Let's do that.
Let's do that.
And we'll be right back after this.
I can't believe you did this. You deserve this. You know that? You deserve this. I'm sick and tired of you. Stop crying. You know this is your fault. You had it coming. What's wrong with you? You want the backside of my hand?
Well, welcome back to the old 77.
It is a safe place.
It is, especially tonight.
Yes, it is.
In an unsafe world.
Yes.
World.
Yeah.
Just can't help
Gotta get that in.
I know.
Dave, what age do you have kids?
34.
Biscuit, what age do you have kids?
We just talked about that a little bit ago. I think it was 23.
Yeah.
Dustin, what age
When
do you
did
have
you get a
kids?
cat?
When did I get a cat? I've had many a kitten and cat. Over the years.
Many of the kitten.
Had a bird once for a little while. I still have the bird technically, but he lives with my grandma.
Do you want to have kids?
Hell no.
Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, after tonight, nobody may ever want
Yeah, I
to
respect that.
listens to the show have kids.
I've
Okay,
heard
so-
you guys tell horror fucking stories, and all my friends that have kids nobody. And then they always end their story with, "But it's the most rewarding thing in the world."
No, it is not.
I was like, I don't know, motherfucker. Have you tried, I don't know, sleeping in?
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I tried
Going
it.
out by yourself on a Sunday morning to
Yeah.
get coffee. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried sleeping in for about 34 years, and it was great. Yeah, I don't know why
Idiot.
And see, the shitty thing now is like when my alarm goes off in the morning now, it's not an option for me to just be like, fuck it, I'm not going into work today. Because I still got to fucking get up and take my kids to school.
How old were you when you had kids?
I was 30. I have a cutoff, though, for me. Personally, I don't want any more kids after 35. I had one more after 35.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like it. See,
I don't
my
like it.
mom was 35 when she had me, and my dad never lived to see me get married, and my
Yeah.
mom never, really got to know my kids, and I just atone it because I had old parents.
You want to know how old my dad was when he had his kids with his second wife?
Now, your dad actually had a vasectomy and then got it reversed,
Correct.
right? Oh, wow.
Oh
Really?
no, you ain't cutting the boys twice.
So it doesn't matter on that end because he chose to do that one.
Yeah.
He was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Fuck it, boys. I'm going to be old.
51.
50.
Oh, are you serious? He was 50 when he did that?
Yeah. So he was like 68 when they graduated from high school.
Have they graduated now?
Yeah.
Wow.
I
He
have
got to see them graduate high school.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
I have a half brother
Good
that
call,
has.
dude.
I have a half brother that has a very successful YouTube channel.
Really?
Yeah, he's got tens of thousands
Are you
of
serious?
subscribers. Yeah.
We got to look that up.
We can look it up during break. I don't want to say it on the air.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, fuck that guy. It's Dave Jordan Music.
Yeah. .com /
Yeah.
YouTube.
We the best music.
Yeah.
We
another
them
one.
boys.
Yeah. Okay, so it's kind of piggyback off what we were saying earlier. This is one of my questions that I wrote down earlier today.
Okay.
Knowing what you know now,
Yes.
if you could go back in time, would you still have kids?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Scotty?
No.
No. I'm gonna straddle the fence on that one because I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
But you guys went out of the way, though, to have your boys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Davey got double nuked though all at once. Like,
Yeah.
Bro, I wish right off
Dude,
the
I
get-go
wish
we would
I
have
had
fucking
had
twins.
that. I remember when I first met this guy, he was so excited and happy and just, oh my God, I'm having twins. And I went home and told Andrea, there's just some fucking idiot I work with. I don't know who this guy is, but he's excited about it.
Two of them at once.
Like, oh my God.
Well,
oh,
Like,
no.
he doesn't even know his life is over. He's
My-
so happy.
my heart definitely fucking fell through my asshole when they told us that it was twins.
Dude, for shh.
Dude, that's,
Or
as a man, that's every dude's worst fear,
And
right?
dude, you can't
I
be
look- I-
honest about it though. Like you can't tell nobody. Like it's all a cultural thing. And I feel like the people that's like, but it's the most rewarding shit in the fucking world. I think if it were socially acceptable to be like, man, I fucking hate my kids,
no.
Yeah.
then more people wouldn't be like, oh yeah, but it's so rewarding. You know, I got my mouth
I-
pissed in this morning.
I've talked about wanting to fight my child.
I know.
So,
Oh, I talk about wanting to fight my child on a daily basis. I talk about
To
wanting
my
I
child.
talk about wanting to murder my child on a daily
My dad
basis.
got to fight his child a couple of times.
Hey, see, I was gonna say, like we were talking about earlier. Every dad, eventually is gonna have to fight their kid if they have a son.
Nah, mine never did.
That day's gonna come.
Your dad was never there for that.
No.
Is he still alive? That day may still come. The
mean,
night
it's
is young.
still-
That's gonna
yeah.
be damn. My dad's gonna be
Yeah,
old
but he's
when he
old
gets that
now.
ass whooping.
He's got neuropathy, like he can't feel his feet and his hands very well anymore.
Well, he should have picked that fight sooner. So.
Yeah.
What's
He chose the wrong time.
Is that something genetic that you're gonna have to be careful with?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is your dad like the size, like thin like you, or is he?
We've got similar build. He's a little
Sim-
taller than I am.
Yeah?
He's
Yeah.
way hairier than I am. I'm jealous about that. He can grow. a
Don't
full
be
beard.
jealous for that, bro.
Oh,
Don't be
really?
jealous.
I'm jealous of you guys that can grow those nice thick beards, man.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, not of you.
Oh shit!
It's all
We're
in how
fighting
you
now.
trim it.
We are.
It is all in how you trim it.
Yeah,
You
I don't
just Gotta
know.
let it go, bro.
I don't know if the neuropathy. I would assume that it's genetic. I will say this: even at my age now, sometimes, not necessarily they don't get numb, but like my hands and feet are cold a lot, which
Yeah.
they say is an early predictor.
That or it's just poor circulation.
Could be.
Yeah, but I think
You
those
need
two
to
things
move
can be
more.
connected.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe I do need to start whacking off with the right hand.
Here you go.
The old friendly stranger.
Yeah, sorry, I'm taking us off course. here, guys.
But I will say though,
We all do
I
that, man.
absolutely do love my children and adore my children. Like I take my kids everywhere.
Well,
It's
don't-
crazy. I talked to a guy about this today too. Who's getting ready to have one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do like everywhere, and that like it gets Kate. Like she'll be like Charlie or Cooper could say, I was like, nah, fuck no, let's go, both of us. Like we go up to Bass Pro all the time.
Yeah.
Me and the kids, we'll drive to Bass Pro.
And
just
you
see
leave
the
Kate.
fish.
She leave Kate to herself so she can have a day to
Yeah.
herself, which she really appreciates.
Oh, you're
I'm
such
sure.
a
yeah.
you're such a good husband.
No, I mean, but I do this every Thursday night, and she
Yeah.
puts the kids to bed. She gives them a bath because
Same.
usually
Yeah.
and she allows me to do this. That's fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
See that reflects on me because I let my kids just fucking run. You got to put yourself to bed. Then again, I got a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, your
9
kids
I got
Yeah.
a 4 and a 2.
Yeah, so it's a little different.
I'm sure back in the
Your
day,
4 and 2 aren't pulling knives on each other and running around the house.
No, give it some time.
Woo! I had to actually, as a father, teach them both how to fucking run with scissors. Like, you don't ever do this.
But if you
but if you do, you got to keep this shit pointed down.
Yeah,
You know?
if
Just
you
so
do.
I mentally knew they wouldn't die.
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I had a friend that had I don't know if it was his big brother or his little brother. I never really figured that part out because he was bigger than him anyway. And his brother was mentally
Yeah.
like I don't
Like
want.
Down syndrome?
No, it wasn't Down
or
syndrome, but it was
autism, or-
unstable.
We didn't. I don't know what it was.
Or
I'm
was
not
it just
gonna
fucking
label it.
crazy? So it was at this time that our recordings crashed. It's never happened before. Not like this. Just up and crashed on us.
Do you need to pee again?
Okay.
You need help.
Well, we are recording now.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Dave's
I've never
peeing.
had that happen before. I just watched it all close down.
But yeah, so
crashed.
it was unstable.
Oh no, he wasn't unstable.
Oh, or
He was like close, like retarded. No, I don't know what to say.
yeah, no.
I mean, if he was,
I mean,
if
like,
he was mentally
He,
retarded,
he wasn't mentally retarded.
You
but
can
he
say
was
it. We're
pretty-
not going to get canceled.
But he was pretty close.
was he slow?
Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
he was a slow dude.
But
Yeah.
You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Like a stuttering slow?
No, like,
he was slow.
like you
I
talk,
totally
like,
understand what you're
he
saying.
didn't stutter nothing, but he would like, yo.
He sounds deaf.
We used to make fun of him. Well, we didn't make fun of him because we all loved the kid.
That
first
sounds like
off.
a speech impediment.
But we loved him like we loved all of our buddies because when we were kids and we were making fun of him, you got to understand we weren't treating him any different than we were treating
and that's-
anybody else.
that's-
No,
Sounded
it's just
good.
like when I make
That's
fun
just
of
how
Dave, it's all
boys-
shit. It's
You know
like-
what I mean? That's how boys interact
how
with
we all
other
do it.
boys.
Yeah.
We pick
Yeah.
on each other and shit, and we're all buddies. But that
You're
was,
mine to fuck with. No one else can fuck with you.
oh yeah. If somebody else would have come along and said some shit like we said
Right.
to him, like we would have whooped his
Oh,
ass.
yeah.
But him and his brother would have the funniest fights, and that boy could fight. I'd seen that.
grown.
Ever since I've seen him when we was kids, fucking beat the shit out of a fucking grown ass man a couple of times, and and I
Grown-ass
mean
man.
you didn't fuck with, and he was, but because of that, his brother when he would come after his brother would throw knives at him,
Holy shit.
and he never like threw them at him, but he didn't know that he would throw them in his direction,
Yep.
and
That's
he was
upstairs.
he'd gotten good enough at it that he'd throw it at him and it would whip right, but it'd get right by him, like just miss him.
Holy shit.
Did he ever hit him and like, don't tell mom, don't tell mom, don't tell
I'm
mom?
sure he did, but I never saw him hit him because by the time I came along, he'd already gotten good at throwing it past him. So it's more of a scare tactic than anything, you know.
Yeah, that
and
only
then
works so much. Then he pulls it out and comes back after.
Yeah.
dude would be cussing him out, and you'd see my buddy's hand just reaching for the knives because the knives were on the wall, and you see him reaching for the knives real slow, and then my other friend, the slow guy, he'd be cussing him out, but he'd be walking away and going outside or something like it when he saw him headed for those knives. And
So, what's your favorite part about being a dad, Scott?
That's a bad one for me.
Should I start with what's your least favorite part? We can start with that instead.
you told me a really good diaper story at the beginning before we were on the air.
So my least favorite thing, kids in general.
Hold on, I've got a quote for that.
Well, I mean, I guess
It's a quote from Andy Richter.
the least thing I hate about being a dad is that I have so much information to pass on to my children. Like, I could teach them how to do so many things.
Yeah.
And they sit there and they'll look at me and they refuse to learn.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I could teach you how to, open this soda up and drink it so where you're not backsplashing or getting shit everywhere.
Yeah,
And
they
then
don't care.
I could sit there and tell them a whole dissertation for 5-6 minutes, crack it open, show them how to do it. Okay, now
No,
you try it.
they're
They'd
not gonna-
spray all over everywhere, and
Yeah.
they'd fucking leave a sandwich in it or something, you know?
Good to know that still is happening at your kid's age.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it's definitely happening at mine.
And now it's so much that they're all on video games. So my boy will just come in and immediately start talking video games, and I'm like, I don't know what game you're talking. I have no idea what this is. What? And I have no clue what he's talking
Those
about.
roles are reversed right now in my life. My dad is he plays Madden and he plays Grand Theft Auto, and he'll get to telling me
Damn.
Wow.
what he's up to, and he's just walking around. But he'll be describing what he's doing in the video game, but I'm talking to him on his cell phone, so I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
it'll sound like he's out and about. It's like,
He's
I'm
in a
just-
drug
actually
war
in a
on
drug
fucking
deal.
GTA.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll
That's
be talking
awesome,
about how
dude.
he's walking around outside, like walking around the trailer park, and he's a security guard, so it makes sense.
And you're
And
thinking.
When art imitates life.
So as a security guard, has he ever said like, yeah, Dustin, the other day I was beating this hooker up and stealing money from her,
No, honestly, no.
pulled a guy out of his car and stole
Way
it.
to go, Dad.
Yeah,
He lives by the motto, "I'm not the police. I'll call the police."
So Scott, did you give me a final answer about what's the hardest thing?
the hardest thing is I have so much to teach my kids,
And they don't
and they
wanna
just
listen.
don't have any interest in it.
Biscuit?
Hardest thing about being a dad?
Yeah.
Wondering if I'll ever live up to the expectation
Yeah.
Of
And-
your dad?
of just
Of being a good dad.
of being a good dad.
Oh man,
Because
that's
you want
hard.
your kids when you're gone.
But
It
what
is.
is a good dad though?
Yeah. Well, I just want my kids
You know.
to remember me and think of me as a
Yeah.
good dad. And I think they do.
Yeah.
I'm going to quote Andy Richter here. I would say the hardest thing about being a parent is these goddamned kids.
That's a really good quote.
It is.
I mean, don't take me wrong. Like, I love my children, and I would do anything for them. And they're my kids. They're here. I live with them. We're going to do this, you know. But goddamn, it's hard.
If I didn't teach at a
Fuck, yeah.
Lutheran school, I would totally put that quote up on Facebook right now.
The hardest part about it, man, is how do you discipline the you out of your kids? Like, you know, the little shit that you did that really just got under your dad's skin that probably started this whole fucking conversation back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, and then he'd come down on me for something. I'd be like, "Mom," run over to mom and show you whatever, and then yell at dad, and then start a fight.
The biggest thing that I have learned to do with both of my children, especially Cooper, knowing that how much of me is in him,
Yeah.
and then with Charlie, is like, it's not so much like I will raise my voice and I still will discipline them, but it's how we work through that situation. Because, like, I literally, like I gotta tell Kate, I'm like, you had a fucking, like, 4.0 GPA. If you took that decimal and you moved it to the fucking left, like 4,
Yeah.
you got mine. Like, you never thought you could put a negative on your GPA? I said, bitch, watch.
Yeah.
Like, I literally, like, I was told I was going to have to repeat my, like, senior
Oh,
year.
yeah.
Like, they're like, you're fucking stupid. And I'm like, at least I'm something, bitch. But,
I don't
like,
think that's it, though.
I don't think you're stupid.
I just think
Oh.
school's not for everybody.
No, but, like, I mean, that was instilled. Like, I mean, I had a counselor tell me, just like, yeah, you're not going to be anything. And it's like, bitch, now I make more money than you.
You had that too, huh?
100%. So, like,
Of course, you don't have to make that much money to make more than a school counselor.
no.
But you
it's
know
still
what?
fun
At the
to
same
fucking
time,
do.
as
Yeah.
a shaping a young mind and molding that future adult,
Yeah.
nothing fucks you up more than your guidance counselor going, you know what,
Yeah.
you might as well drop out because you ain't
Yeah.
going to
I had a
amount to
friend.
shit.
Yeah, I had a friend that dropped out of high school. It's exact same situation.
Yeah.
A counselor told him
Yeah.
to basically like, oh,
Yeah.
who the fuck
mean,
are
that
these
was-
people hiring as
Dude,
counselors?
and that's like a father figure right there.
well, maybe
Well,
It
it's-
should
it's
be.
yeah.
It should
guidance
be. It should be
counselor.
someone who, like a father should
Yeah.
do. Someone who has your best interests at heart and they're guiding you
yeah.
to what's best for you, as
Yeah.
opposed to get the fuck out of my school.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
I
got that at home. I don't need that at school. You know.
Yeah, I gotta get the fuck out of my school, get the fuck out of my house,
Right.
get the fuck out of my cult.
And that just
Get out of my
exactly that
town.
just sets everything fucking up, man.
All right. So, what's the best part of being a dad, Biscuit? I'll let you start.
being a dad. Like, I love it.
Yeah, just the
Yeah,
whole thing.
Yeah.
Good.
Like, yeah, like with Cooper now, like he's talking, like Charlie picked up talking like super fast, and
Mm-hmm.
like Cooper's just like me. You know, we like to take our time.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No
though.
rush,
Yeah.
man.
No.
I got one kid
Ah.
that is a great talker, and I got one kid that's a little behind, and
Yeah.
that's fine.
But like, so he doesn't want Kate to like, cause like we cuddle, like Kate cuddles with Charlie, and I cuddle with Cooper.
That's good. That's good that
Yeah.
you're actually affectionate with your children.
Yes.
I'm super
And-
affectionate with my
Me
kids.
too,
Yeah.
man.
So I sit in his rocking chair, and like we rock, and then I was like, buddy, you want to lay in your bed? He goes, yeah. And I was like, I look at him, I was like, hey, love, because he can't
Yep.
say love you or I love you. I look at him, I say love. He gives a big smile, and he says
Aw.
love.
Aw.
That's awesome.
I was like, buddy, I will fuck somebody up for you. I just wanna
Fucking
let
right,
you know.
man.
Yeah.
And he says,
Fucking
yeah.
right.
And then I lay him in his bed. He rolls over, and he like he's still in a crib, and like he'll look over there and go, Dad, Dad. And I was like, yeah, buddy. And he goes, love. And I was like,
Aw. Yeah.
I love you too.
Yeah, bro. Made your old heart explode.
Yeah.
Yeah, my kids get me, and it's funny because a lot of times they get you when you least are expecting them to get you too.
Yeah.
You know, they'll just say something super sweet out of the blue,
Right.
or there's like last night when
You have a rough one,
when
did
me
you?
and my kid nearly got into a physical fight. I mean, obviously I'm not gonna fucking fight my 6-year-old kid.
maybe
But
you
I swear to
should.
God, he wants to catch his hands.
But
He's
he
gonna.
was fucking sad. He's been sassy, and he's always sassy at night. He's great in the morning, like when I'm getting him ready for school.
Yeah.
He's great. And so I don't know if it's just a deal where, like, by the time the end of the day gets there, he's just wiped.
He's so overstimulated.
Dude, it could be.
And,
It could be.
like, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, man, because he has been so bad
But
at night.
fuck, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just know someday you'll have that ass whooping coming back.
Look forward to it.
Probably.
But you know what? That's a perfect segment right there. That should lead into our next segment on how can we not do what our dads did to us to our kids, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Well-
about you? What's the best part about being a dad to you?
Best part about being a dad, I think, is when my kids actually, at least now, like I didn't have that before, but now, like when my kids will go out and they'll go somewhere and they come back and somebody's like, man, your kid is so well behaved and put together and so nice. And then I look over my shoulder and they're setting the neighbor's house on fire.
Right.
You know, and I'm like, oh, thank God.
Throwing knives at each other.
Right, thank God you see that. Got somebody strapped up. Like it's like the fucking Addams Family over here, right?
Right.
Somebody making a guillotine out back,
Right.
shit, all that shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's when they go somewhere and somebody's like, man, your kids are great.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And I hear that from my kids'
I just wanna
teachers all the
see it.
time. Yeah.
I just want to see it once.
Our grandparents gave us kids because I didn't have brothers and sisters, but I had cousins that lived on the hill with me. And we spent most of our time at our grandparents' house because they gave us more freedom. And I wasn't even a teenager yet back then, but
That's how it should be, though.
and they were worse than my parents were toward me. They treated me like shit.
Your
And-
grandparents were?
Yeah.
Wow.
When I was living
That's generally grandparents, I feel, unless
yeah, they
you're
treated me.
raised
No,
by
no, no, no.
someone
Well,
like
see,
that.
my dad and my uncle are from the previous marriage, the
Oh.
failed marriage. Now, my uncle, he was really, 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 really rich. And so, yeah.
So we had a little animosity going on.
No. He was never the problem. The problem was, see, he wasn't getting treated. Him and his kids wasn't getting treated like I was getting treated. Plus, they didn't live there all the time because they'd moved away. So it was a novelty when they came to visit.
Gotcha.
And this bullshit I went through is probably why. And but even when but then like my dad's little brother Daryl, he's from the new family. He's from the current,
Okay.
family.
When did your parents divorce?
No, my parents never divorced. My grandparents divorced.
Your grandparents divorced.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
And
Okay.
now the woman that I've always called my grandmother that my grandfather
Jesus.
married.
Then you had an enormous family, didn't you?
Yeah, they had a son and a daughter, and the son and the daughter, their kids got treated a lot better than I ever got treated.
Yeah.
Because I was the poor kid from the unwanted marriage, and my dad was,
Yeah.
he was the poor one from the unwanted marriage, and he wasn't going to be providing anything for them, so I always felt, and I didn't put two and two together though like that when I was a kid.
God, isn't that's how it is, man.
Yeah.
When you're in weird shit, you just don't realize it.
But, you know, at the same time, I didn't interact with them all that much. I was mainly interested in hanging with my cousins. When they would come around, it'd be a bummer, but, you know, whatever. Yeah. We'll get to hang out again eventually and, you know, like shit like that. But now at the same time, that did lead to me, well, not lead to. There's a lot of things that led to me being a bad kid, but the rest of them was just as bad as I was. I was just the only one that got in trouble because, you know, like I said, my dad didn't have no money. And
that'll do it, you know. Get caught doing that shit, yeah.
And I remember one night we had poor Keaton tied upside down. My grandpa had one of those ropes that was on a really tall tree, and it was like had to have been 100 foot long.
Are we talking like a lynching rope?
No. Well, it could have been, but
I mean, we are in the South.
I mean, listen, it would have held the weight because we would swing on it.
Okay.
We would, and the hill was like, if we would have fell off that rope, we would have died.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking.
But because that motherfucker was high when you get over that hill, and it was fun. But you know, we was kids, we wasn't thinking like that. We would swing on the rope, man. That shit was fun.
That was a different day. Yeah.
But Keaton was always scared to swing on the rope, and we used to torture him because he was the small one. He was the little one, so he was the one that we would pick on. And so I remember one day we had him tied upside down, and we deserved the ass whoop. I think I deserved half the ass whooping I got. But
whoopings were got.
We had him bungee corded to the rope, and we were pushing him. And at first he was screaming, and then he was like, it went from a hateful scream or like a terrified scream to a wee.
Yeah.
And he's upside down, keep that in mind. And so we let him go, and I was just about to cut him loose, and he's like, do it again. So I was like, fine. So I did it again, and he screamed everything. And then so my grandma came outside to hear what the screaming was. And he was even laughing when I caught him. And we was like, oh, shit. And, of course, you know, I tell it like the way I tell it ain't what it happened. But the way I tell it is like, I was like, no, man, see, I was trying to tell Ryan not to do it. I was putting him down.
Well, that's how you do it. You didn't go and tell him the truth and get in trouble.
No.
Hell no.
No, that ain't what really happened. I just say that to make the story funny. But
doesn't matter.
What really happened was she came out and she fucking laid into my ass. Didn't say shit to Ryan. And just laid into my ass, and it was but that wasn't the only one. That's just the funniest one. But yeah, that shit would happen all the time. Or Keaton, when he got old enough to actually do shit, he'd fuck up, and then I'd get yelled at. I'd get punished because Keaton got in trouble. That was another thing.
So it sounds like you got in trouble more from your grandfather and your grandparents.
No. I got it from every fucking body.
Everywhere.
Dude. I got it from everybody on that. When we lived on that hillside, I got it from everybody. I got it from my uncle, from my aunt.
Ooh, it takes a village in your case.
They treated me like shit.
Yeah.
Especially my aunt. I still hate that woman. I'll be honest with you. I get along with her now, but because of all the shit she put me through when I couldn't do nothing about it, there's just so much fucking hatred
I
there.
understand that 100%, dude. Blood is blood, but at the same time, if it's bad for you, you get rid of it.
Well, you know what? The way they never looked at it
at the end of the day.
They never looked at it like we was fucking blood. So why the fuck should I have to? Why do I got to follow that rule when they didn't?
That's just my personal rule. You know, I feel like blood is blood, but at the same time, if it's bad, if it's toxic, if it doesn't do me any good,
there's a such thing as bad blood.
It's totally okay to rip that out, to get it out of there. It's got to go. If that is the reason that you can't be you, then it's not good for you.
Let me ask you this, Scotty. Do you forgive your father for all of that shit?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Good, honest answer.
Not really. No. I do regret, though, that he died before I became a man, really, and, like, got to know him more as an adult.
As a man, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that sucked.
Sure.
But, you know, not really.
Yeah.
I'm still that, to be honest 100% with you, Dave, I'm that 13-year-old kid begging for his dad's attention.
Yeah.
Same, bro.
You know?
Yeah, same.
All I want is for him to tell me, like, I'm proud of you. That's it.
Yeah.
Bro, I agree.
That's all I want. I never got it.
Do you forgive your dad, Biscuit, for the shit that he put you through?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Have you actually told him that?
No. No reason
to. Do you think you ever will?
Do you feel like there's a common understanding?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's in different... So that's the thing.
You really do have a different relationship then.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
my
Hold
God,
on to
dude.
that, man. Hold on to that.
It's definitely changed. It's it's not so much that my dad has told me that like I'm proud of you. It's just the way that he has done things and said other things
Right.
that it's like I'm proud of you type way. Like
So he like physically expressed it.
yes.
You ever had that? You ever had that physical like I'm proud of you moment?
Oh, no.
No. I had an unsaid one, but it was nothing. Like I found a hammer. One of the, you know what? You're familiar with all this. I found an East Wing hammer, a brand new one on the fucking road. Driving to work, dude.
I've done that too.
This hammer is amazing. I still have
it a good brand?
It sings.
East Wing's very
The whole thing's
expensive
like
hammers.
So that hammer
It
that he
sings.
Yeah, I hit a nail with it and it'll go ding.
Yeah,
ding, ding.
they're very nice hammers.
And my dad saw that and he was like, "What the fuck are you gonna do with that?" And at the time we had two sheds, a big barn and a little barn, and the door going into the big barn was rotten out, and so I just reframed it.
Yeah.
I took it upon myself. I had a hammer. Hell, found it on the street.
Yeah.
Took care of it, you know. And after that, he just sat and watched.
Yeah.
We talked and everything, and afterwards he just looked it over and was like, "Right on."
Yeah.
And that's the best I ever had it right there.
Yeah.
Same.
Best I ever had it.
Yeah.
Yep. It's never been I'm proud of you. It's like you're doing good.
Yeah.
Did anybody's dad like show up and like criticize you and yell at you, but then like fix shit around your place or tell you how to fix something or be like, "Hey, let's go fix this real quick," and then
All
you
the time.
dumbass, blah blah blah.
Nah,
Oh, yeah.
all the
Like
time.
last year on Thanksgiving. That shit happened to me.
You know, that's a total
But I told
sign.
that son of a bitch that
And that's how it always goes.
no, it was on
Yeah.
Thanksgiving fucking day. We were gonna lay a vapor barrier under my house.
Yep, that's how it goes right there, man.
And it was Thanksgiving fucking day, and we just ate Thanksgiving. We're full. We want
my
to take a
God.
nap. Now he wants to crawl under the fucking house, and I said no, not on Thanksgiving.
But that's a dad
So he
thing.
breaks
Yeah.
my fucking washing machine to fucking move it out of the way so he can get under there and do it his fucking self because he doesn't have the respect for me and my goddamn property
Yeah.
to fucking wait. And if that was
sucks.
any other fucking man, he would have got his nose fucking punched.
Right.
You know?
And
Yeah. It's
Fight
if somebody
your dad.
did that to him, I still want to punch him in the fucking
Right.
nose every time I do my laundry, and I've got to do it with that fucked up handle because I can't afford to fix it.
That's like if you've got the neighbor who she's married and her husband's at work all day, and so then you decide to go over there and mow the lawn, just to help
You
out.
don't
mow another
intrude-
man's
you
lawn.
don't know. You
No.
never intrude in another man's
No, sir.
space.
No,
See,
sir.
that's where my dad would disagree.
You do not do that.
He would go over there and set up a shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got another family, some other parts of the country, because he was a Boilermaker. He traveled,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that was his jam.
But
He'd go shack up with some chick and probably have a couple kids.
I inherited my handiness from my dad, who I believe is also not handy at all. It sounds like your dad was handy.
My
Your
dad
dad
was
sounds
super
like your
handy.
dad was handy.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Mine was
I
not.
can fake it. I mean, it looks like shit, but I can fake it.
Well,
Well,
nowadays, bro, we got YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's my point
Oh, my
exactly.
God, yeah.
And I was gonna help with it. We had a plan to do it tomorrow,
Yeah.
but he didn't want to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I don't give a fuck what you want. This ain't your house.
Well, and that's what he was thinking. I don't give a fuck. I'm your dad.
No,
Yeah.
motherfucker, not
You
right
know,
now. You're
not
not.
right
Now you're a
now.
guest in my goddamn castle. I am the goddamn king.
See, that's what I wanted. I wanted my dad to see me as like a person and not
Yeah.
as a burden.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
you're gonna see me like that, or you're gonna get your shit and go the fuck home. Like,
no, that's completely understandable. Like,
Yeah, man.
I've definitely had those feelings before. It's like,
do I not do that when
just a
I'm in his
person.
house? Do you not do that when you're in his house?
Right.
Is it not an unspoken? You
yeah, I
make
don't
the
fuck- I don't
rules
fuck with
here.
my dad's stuff.
So
That's
why-
a good point. I
You
mean,
know,
well, I mean, not to drag other people into it, but my mother-in-law would come here and
my fucking mother-in-law.
she would stay like, I don't know, 2-3 days, right? And like within the first 6 to 7 hours,
She done wore out her-
somewhere in this house, she would have taken a room, completely taken everything out of the cabinets, rearranged it, put things back together the way she thought it should go.
Yeah.
Who the fuck you think you are?
Exactly, dude. I
Yeah.
let that slide one time.
Yeah.
It happened a total of 4 times. And on the 4th time, I physically threw my mother-in-law out of our home. I said, "Get the fuck out of here and don't come back." And I was so my dad that day, boy. I was harping that bitch.
I've kicked a few
Woo!
girlfriends' mothers out of my house back in the day when I was living in the ghetto.
And the best
Yeah?
part was I
In
was
the
talking to
ghetto.
my wife afterwards, and she was like, I was so proud of you. I was so proud. I've never been more happy in my life.
She was turned on.
Right? And then that's when we severed contact with
That was how we
with her.
met.
No.
Yeah, that was
No.
no.
I got a whole other story.
Get out of here, you bitch!
I got a whole other story.
I love you.
And then I married her
Let's
daughter just to
Let's
be a
make
dick.
babies.
Yeah.
I don't even know who this woman was that came up in my house that day.
Oh man, she's a piece of work. Let me tell you, piece of work.
Yeah.
Your mother's sometimes, like for me, my dad was the physical side of what's got me fucked up. My mom was like, she would attack you mentally.
Oh man, if we're talking about moms, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
whole other episode.
Yeah,
to be
that's every
honest,
can of worms there.
mom's the more loving, but God, I've got so much guilt and shit from mom. You know?
Well, my problem with my mom right now is that she ain't smart enough to figure out, even though I've laid the cards on the table and showed her the deck, that I've got her figured out and that this shit don't work. So fucking cut it out.
Well,
And
sometimes it's hard to drop that, man, especially with your kids.
My
It's
dad's
hard
just
to-
straight honest.
It's
He's
hard
just-
to see. That's how I am.
Dude just doesn't give a fuck.
That's how I
Yeah,
am.
I mean, I love the dude for it because I mean, he'll literally just be like,
I respect people that are just lay it out.
I don't-
every Sunday we go out to eat at their house, and like he'll call me and be like, I don't want you out here this weekend. I'm like, thank God I did not want to go out to your house this weekend. He'll be
Wow.
like, all right, cool, man. And then I'll be
Yeah.
like, all right, dude, I'll talk to you later.
Cool.
It's literally like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like the thing is like over the time now, like I call my dad every day. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, we just talk about random shit. It's not,
but you
it's
still
nothing.
talk.
But I was just like, yeah.
Does
no,
it feel
just
more
check
like
and
a
see what you're doing.
friendship at
I
this
never
point than
did
like a
that.
father-son? Or does
No.
it feel like a father-son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
mine feels
I mean-
like that now more because
Like
like,
how you
Friendship
said-
more?
no, like
Father-son?
I am getting some of his respect.
Yeah,
I'm not
good.
getting it like he should be giving it to another man,
sure.
and that part pisses me off. But
Sure.
but my dad is way more respectful than my mom is now.
Yeah.
But like growing up, now it might have sucked, but like now it is. We're starting to get there, and
That's good.
And I mean, honestly, like even with all that shit, if my dad needed a place to stay, he knows he could come to my place, and if I need,
Oh, for
and
sure.
vice versa,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it might suck for both of us, but
Yeah. I agree though. I feel like I'm like how you feel. Like you feel like you're that 13-year-old boy.
Yeah.
That's how I am. And as time goes on, I grow a little bit older with my dad now.
I don't,
Yeah.
yeah.
To where now
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I earned a lot of respect from my dad when I fixed something that he couldn't.
Yeah?
Oh,
I
dude.
bet.
And I was like, no,
so
no, no.
badly
This
wanted
is-
to do that.
I was like, this is
Yeah.
how you do it. And he goes, that's how you do it? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, nice. But
What was it?
You were
Some
able
on
to
a truck.
show your dad something.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
that
sure,
or
man.
that old truck I have. I don't know if I've ever showed you guys a
Yeah,
picture
yeah,
that
I've seen that old
restoring. Yeah. I had a real bad engine knock. And I just tore it apart. Put it back together and I FaceTimed him. And it's how he answers. He's like, what do you want? And I'm like, hey, bitch, look at this.
Yeah?
And he's like, it's quiet. And I was like, no fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's how we talk to each other.
Well, that's fine.
I mean,
that's
it's
how
pure.
men.
Yeah.
Dude, that's how men talk. That's how you talk
Yeah.
to your son.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
So your
true.
son will talk to you like that.
Good deal.
Did either of your fathers did they ever reveal too much to you about certain things as a
Never.
kid?
he has since I was an adult.
I have I have an example of that. So
I remember telling my dad whenever I had sex with one of my girlfriends, I was like, hey, man, I'm just letting you know I'm plowing this chick.
there you go.
Really?
And he's like, oh, okay. And I'm like,
I would have got beaten. They'd
Deal.
have called the preacher. And
yeah.
Very
Sorry,
strict,
Dave.
huh?
But yeah.
When I was in seventh
this is
grade,
all Jesus bullshit.
when I was in seventh grade, my dad told me, because this was right after he had his kids with his second wife. But he told me basically that he was jealous of his own kids because they were getting all the attention and
Really?
he wasn't getting the attention anymore. from
See,
his
that's
wife.
how it was in my house too.
Yeah. He also told me that
Have
when
you?
Pick your mic up, dude. You're a little off mic there.
Sorry.
There you go.
Okay,
Um,
that's what it was. I
I was
knew
like,
it was.
man, there's something up. I'm over here cranking.
I'm not
you.
being loud and rowdy tonight.
No, no.
He also told me that, and this was, I think, at the same conversation, that when he met my stepmom, who was 15 years younger than him,
no.
that it was the best sex he had ever had.
Well, I mean,
He told me that when I was in like 6th or 7th grade.
Nice. Have you ever felt that way?
six.
That like you like your wife gives your
Sixth or
kids
7th grade.
that is a little,
No,
That's harsh,
No, I've
man.
never felt jealous of my kids,
or
no.
like felt like, hey, they're getting a little bit more attention than I am.
Not to the point that it
Well, not
bothers
to
me.
that not to that extent. Yeah.
not to the point that it bothers me. I mean, fuck, they're my kids. I'd
Yeah.
be mad if she wasn't paying them attention. You know.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I feel like if you're not good, then your kids.
I
Like
come
if you
first.
two are, if you two are not good, then your kids aren't going to be good.
Yeah,
Like
no,
they tell you
I
on an
totally
airplane.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I totally agree with
Help
that.
yourself before you help the person next to you.
Yes.
My wife comes before my kids, and I come before my wife.
No, absolutely.
We're there, and
I feel like that's the way it should.
And if we're
be.
lucky, we both come at the same time.
or not at all.
nah, bro. Like I said, it's fucking NASCAR. If you ain't first, you're last, Ricky Bobby.
That's
Raise
right.
hell, praise
Yeah,
Dale.
That's right.
And on that note, let's take a break.
Let's do it, baby. Let's make it happen.
So, what was that again?
Raise hell, praise Dale.
There it is.
Number 3 for life.
Number 3 for life.
Hold on, Andrew. Say it.
We'll take a
Save
break
it
and
for-
we'll
save
be
it for the
right
break.
back.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
after this on the old 77. I got some piecing to do.
I can't believe you did this. You deserve this. You know that? You deserve this. I'm sick and tired of you. Stop crying. You know this is your fault. You had it coming. What's wrong with you? You want the backside of my hand?
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the old 77.
It's a safe place, Scott.
Speak up a little more, Dave.
It's a safe place, Scott.
I don't know what's going on with your mic.
Say it
over
with your
there.
chest, Dave.
Right?
I'm being just as loud as I always
Put some
am.
balls in your throat,
I'm
boy.
trying to.
Be a fucking man,
okay,
Dave.
is this
Wow.
better?
Did your daddy not teach you that? I'm sorry.
Scott's,
Oh
Scott's
my
over
God.
there double fisting the faders.
That was a mean joke, and I immediately regretted it.
I
just
don't-
wanna
I
didn't
It's
let-
even hear it.
hilarious.
I didn't even hear it, so it's okay.
Did your dad not teach you?
You guys are killing me.
Oh no!
He's like, no, he didn't.
Good one, bro. Good one. Good one.
I do not.
I sat over here and died
I'm
a
not
little.
proud of that one.
Not gonna lie.
Can you hear me now?
That
Can
was
you
a
hear me
can,
now?
fucking
I
home
can,
run.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
'cause you're saying with your chest.
Okay.
Yeah, man,
I've
I
been
don't-
I've been
Little bitch.
talking. I mean, I've been loud as usual. I
Yeah,
think.
but it's like you're always. It sounds like you're always just right off mic.
I don't know.
You know.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to change mics around again.
I know.
It's like when
No,
I go.
I like mine. Fuck you,
Get
Dave.
your dick out. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
All right, so Scott, you have a
So third
a
topic today,
proposition
right?
for our third segment here.
Yes.
What's the thought? What's
So
the
the
idea?
thought is now we've talked about our dads, we've talked about our kids. You guys ever catch yourself fucking up? Do you think you're a good dad?
Oh goodness.
Do you think you are a good dad?
Yes.
Do you?
I do.
I don't. I feel like I'm fundamentally a really bad dad.
Why?
Because I just let my kids down all the time. Like,
Do you think you-
they want to be around me and hang out and stuff, and I'm like, no, get the fuck away. I want to be in here alone. Or,
Yeah.
you know, they'll be like, I want to do this or I want to do that, or my daughter just wants to spend time, and I'm like, I don't really want to spend time.
Why don't
with
you?
Because she's kind of an asshole. She's very manipulative. She wants you to do things. She'll be like, oh, hey, can I have some food? And you're like, no, we're gonna eat in 20 minutes. I've never had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich before. You think maybe I could try one? And it just keeps going.
Yeah.
And she doesn't take no for an answer. And it's just, I don't want to be around that, man, you know?
Yeah. I feel that way
I'm
about
tired of that shit.
one
She
of my
can't-
sons right now.
She can't act like a normal human being. So it's like, I don't want to be around you
That's
when you're
what
like this.
That's what I tell
I
Jack.
feel like it's with a child. If it's going to give me bad behavior, then I'm not rewarding bad behavior.
That's what I tell Jack all the time. I said, dude, just act like a normal human being.
Right.
He has like a Jekyll and Hyde thing.
Yeah.
Do you ever just try to, like, not like work it out, but figure it out with them?
Elaborate.
Like, so
What do you mean by
one in my downstairs is like my workshop. Like both my trucks are down there, especially the truck I'm working on, and my kids all the time always want to fuck with something.
that? Right.
They always want to grab a tool.
Yeah, my kids too.
They want to a lot of times they see what I'm doing. They want to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, they want to
But
imitate
they will go up to something that I know they shouldn't, and just to see what it is. Do you ever try to like work it out with them? Be like, hey, we can't fuck with this, but let's look at this together and be safe about it. So a lot of times, like as soon as we go downstairs, I'll start to wrench on the truck, and Cooper will kind of just mosey around. I let him mosey.
Yeah.
I let him do his thing. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna let you figure you out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let you figure out. Same way with Charlie. I never have problems with them.
Yeah.
When they're with Kate, it's always no, stop, just sit there, and I'm like, fuck that.
Right.
You want to trash this bitch? Let's trash this bitch.
Yeah.
Let's fucking throw shit everywhere.
So you're.
Would your dad
let's
do that?
it. No, fuck no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad never did that.
Yeah, I think you just are. You just seem to be a very open-minded dad.
Well, good for you,
Yeah.
man.
No, and I know where you're coming from with that too. Like
If it made any sense.
Yeah, no, it does make sense. Like sometimes you come at things from a different angle, where instead of getting mad at them, you just kind of redirect them, or
I've had to repaint stuff on that truck before because they've dug shit into the side of it.
Yeah.
Oh, I've had to re-drywall because of kids before.
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet. I feel
Yeah,
like it's
my
gonna be
kids
close.
were fucking up one day, and we were redoing our bathroom, and I had a wet wall with mud. Suddenly, I had handprints and fucking trucks, tracks, and everything else in. And he was 4 years old and learned how to re-drywall.
Yeah.
So he was mudding at 4, and as a result, he won't listen to me for anything now.
Really.
Nothing. I'll be
How
like,
was
"Hey
that?
man, we got to do this." Nope.
What was the experience at that moment? What was it? Were you losing your cool?
No, I think I made him do it. That's
You-
what
you
it was.
didn't.
I made
It
him
wasn't
come.
like
I was calm, cool, collected. This is how we're going to do it. I didn't make him at 4 learn how to, jump in there and do it.
No, yeah.
I held the blade while we would, run it up, but then he wandered off, didn't want anything to do with it. Hey, get back in here. We're going to, nope. And that was it. And he's never listened to me for anything since. And his sister just refuses.
Really?
Yeah. So here's the thing with my kids is, hey, man, clean your room or you can go to bed. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Good night. They have no problem. Hey, go outside. You left all this shit outside, No, I ain't doing that. Well, get your ass out there and fucking do it. No, I ain't doing that. They have no problem telling me right to my face, no.
Yeah. Jack's been doing that.
Oh, that bothers me.
Yeah,
like my
it pisses
dad.
me off, dude.
Oh, I just feel my dad well up when my
Yeah.
little girl looks at me and smiles, and she's like, "No, I ain't fucking
Because
doing that."
I want so hard not to whip my kid's ass.
And my dad would have belted me for that one, like,
Yeah.
whoop-hap,
Yeah. That's
And
tough.
you don't want to do that?
No. So that's my.
That's your breaking
For
point
me
right there?
personally, that's my no. I refuse to let myself get to a point where I am physical with my children or my wife. I have failed as a fucking human being if I am sinking to that level that my father did, and I can't handle something, and I just have to smack her with it,
Yeah.
or I got to hit my kids.
You
Like,
have to
I refuse to do that.
Yeah.
Resort to the
I
violence.
will not hit my children or my wife.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
I would definitely never hit my wife.
Oh,
I
God,
know
no,
you wouldn't.
Yeah, your wife. Fuck no, Dave.
I bet you wouldn't, bud.
No, you motherfuckers would hit my wife either.
No. Are you kidding? I ain't even thinking about
yeah,
fighting
no,
my wife.
yeah.
No, even if I could beat up my wife.
From the
there's no way
stories
I
I've
would ever
heard, I'd
lay
be
a
running
hand
out
on
that door.
another woman. No, I could never lay my hand on another woman.
No, man.
No, I can't say that I've never laid a hand on my kids.
Now spanking
Same.
is one thing. Spanking is one thing. I've spanked my kids, and like my little girl sass off, and I'll like pop her in the face or something. But I have never like.
Oh, no,
That's different.
Yeah.
That's different. That's punishing.
definitely. Yes.
There's a difference between punishment and flat out fucking abuse.
Abuse.
Beating.
Yeah.
Now the thing
Yeah.
I do though is I hate it,
do.
but I verbally abuse the shit out of my kids. Like my boy will do something and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing? You can't do that." And I catch myself falling into my dad.
Yeah.
I'm guilty
You
of
know?
that.
I gaslight every once in a while. I throw my mom's guilt in. Oh, well, we didn't fucking hang out for 8 hours in the delivery room just to, have you, fuck off and do this with somebody. No, you're coming with us,
Yeah.
Yeah, all that shit, man. It's terrible.
I see. That's where
Catch myself.
my dad didn't have a problem. But he thought as long as he was using a belt, he could do whatever the fuck he wanted.
See, that's kind of how my dad was. He was
And-
doing you a favor.
Yeah, he would. I got it with belts. They'd cut a fucking limb off of a tree and beat my ass with.
Never
And
had
they would
that.
say they wouldn't let you call it beating. That was called whipping,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
made it okay.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older, I'm like, no, you don't get to change the terminology and fucking
You
like.
got a beating, man.
Then what's okay? Where do we stop now? Do we is a rape just a friendly fucking
See,
sex
and
you didn't know you wanted?
That's
like,
exactly
Right.
where it is. Like, what is? Where does it stop? You smack your kids. Your kids do this, it escalates. Your kids do this, it escalates. They look at you and give you that thing, and you just start boiling over. And oh my god, what happens if you do something you can't ever take back?
Yeah, I'm a.
Which is exactly what my old man did.
Yeah.
I mean, what I do with my kids, it's like when it reaches that point, like there's where we don't become friends anymore.
That's just it. You're not friends. For me and my kids,
Yes.
I tell them straight out, I'm not your friend.
Oh,
I
yeah.
am your dad. I am your dad first.
Yeah.
I'll be your friend second.
Yes.
When you're an adult, that's when we're friends.
Yeah, when we're playing as friends. But
Sure.
as soon as something is not going correctly,
as it
Then
should.
you turn into dad.
yeah, I am your father now, and I'm your
Yeah.
Father first.
I play
Yes.
both roles, but yeah, father
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
And what I do is we talk like I don't say like we talk it out, but I talk to them,
Yeah,
and it turns into talking at them.
it does.
But at the same time,
I do the same thing.
the way I look at it is I'm putting that I'm an authority. You will respect it
Yes.
because this will aid you in life. If you can respect me when you get pulled over or when you're in a situation of and that
Respect.
sort, yeah, and there is respect being needed, you respect it and you will get that respect back
And
because
see,
that's how it is with Charlie.
Dude, that's something that nobody does anymore.
Yeah.
Nobody teaches you how, as a man, to respect other men.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
working
fuck
on
yeah.
that right now with my
It's
kid.
so hard.
I use that exact. I've been using that exact phrase. You will get back from me what you give me.
Yeah.
If you are nice to me, if you are respectful to me, I'm gonna be nothing but a nice dad to you. But if you give me
Cross me.
bullshit,
Yeah.
don't expect. And here's the thing with Jack lately is like, I am nice probably for longer than I should be nice, and then I reach my breaking point, and then he tells me that I'm being the mean one, and I say, son, that's not how this works. If you're nice to me, respectful to me, that's exactly what I'm going to give back to you. And I even tell him, I'm even willing to forget all of this bad shit that
Yeah.
you have just said to me. If you will just start being respectful now, we can forget about it and we can start fresh.
So have you had a
Right
low
here.
point yet that both of you have just went, oh, fuck, something's got to change?
No, because he's not old enough to
Not
even
yet.
have that thought yet.
And I guess neither of your boys are. Mine actually had that. Jonah had that. We were on vacation in Florida, and we had just stayed with some family before that we left. They were in Illinois, so we went and hung out with them and then flew out. And they were talking about how somebody had an affair with somebody else. Well, full disclosure, I've had an affair. And my wife and I weren't really good at the time, and we were getting better, and we were, good enough to do stuff. And out of nowhere, in a restaurant in Florida, because he didn't get his way, my boy goes, he's having an affair. Straight out, he was like, "Hey, I want catfish nuggets and like some alligator." I'm like, "No, that's too fucking expensive." And he's having an affair. And I was
We
like,
out.
what the fuck? And I look at my wife and she goes, what? And I could see in her eyes, she's like, oh, fuck. What's going on? And I'm
Yeah.
like, there's nothing going on. And I fucking blew up in Florida on my kid, man.
Yeah.
That was the closest I ever got to hitting my kid and throwing him in the fucking ocean and leaving.
Yeah, man.
And he was like 10. Because he
But-
didn't get his way. He did
Yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah.
And that fucking bug, oh, God.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll have moments like that.
But that
Oh,
was
yeah.
ours. Because he said it, looked at me, and was like, I fucked up.
Yes.
And I was like, yes, you did, son.
Just the look in his eye.
We fucking went at it, boy.
Did he say I fucked up?
No,
or
no,
just
no,
the
no,
look
no.
in
Just
his
the
eye.
look in his eye.
You could tell that he knew.
I've had that like a little bit with Cooper. Like he's gone and hauled off and grabbed something and threw it and immediately turned at me.
And regretted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you just fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
I'll look at him and be like, you fucked up.
That's when he knew.
Yep. But guess what? You gonna fucking do it again, are you?
Yep.
I'd be like, now you go pick it up. And he goes and picks it up. And then I tell him, like, come over here. And I give him a hug.
But
And I was
then,
like, Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's a dude.
Yeah.
Damn, you're a good dad.
Yeah, that's,
try to
that's
be.
a good father.
Yeah.
That's a good
It's
father.
I wouldn't do that for my kid. I'd just be like, God damn it, what the fuck? Now get in the house,
Yeah.
you know?
It just depends on the day for me. I'm a better father some days than others.
I try to
Most
be
definitely.
better, but
Try to be consistent.
my poor kids are fucked. I'm being honest. They're fucked. I mean, so when Jonah was young, he was so happy and so vibrant and everything. And I got so mad at him one day because he wouldn't listen. And we had all these antiques at the time because we weren't kid-proof yet. And we had an antique player piano. And he used to stand on it and jump on it and shit and play around. And it didn't bother me or anything. But for some reason one day he was not listening. And I got in his face in his bed because he wouldn't listen to me. And I put him in bed. And he still was giving me lip from the bed. And I got right in his little face and fucking read him the rights, man. And ever since then, he's 13. He was probably 5 when that happened. He still remembers that. And ever since I did that, I lost my happy little boy. He was sad. He was always depressed. Things are bad. And I know I did that.
Damn.
And the other day, like last night, he told his mom about it.
Damn.
Do you
was like,
think?
"Oh."
Do you think you could reverse it?
Not now.
I think
No,
you
because he
can.
constantly holds on to it. I just need to remind him that no matter what, I still love him with all my heart. I will do anything for him. Like that may have been what I was, but I am not that guy now.
How often do you apologize to your kids?
If it's warranted, I will. If it's warranted.
can go.
I apologize to my kids. Like if I
If I fuck up,
yeah
that's something my parents wouldn't have done.
yeah if
Now, my
if-
dad
if
did
I go too
apologize
far.
to me once or twice.
That's nice.
Like,
Oh,
I mean,
my
he's
dad
not a
never
bad
did.
guy.
Oh, that's
Well, earlier,
that's not happening, man.
Yeah.
earlier, David, you and Dave was talking about how your dad, how you perceived your dad versus how other people
Yeah.
did.
Right.
My dad he would find out like a man like lost his job and shit, right?
Yeah.
And then he'd be like, "Hey man, you want to go fishing or some shit?" And then he'd be like, "Yeah, I gotta run to the grocery store real quick and grab some shit." And then he'd buy a bunch of shit. And he's like, "Oh shit, I remember carrying and went grocery shopping. All right, why don't you just take his shit and
Yeah. My dad would do that.
like."
He was a great guy to everybody but his family.
But see, I didn't hear about a lot of that till long after I was like at my grandpa's funeral and shit like that. Long after I was an adult, like
That's the way it should be, bro.
because he would he never told anybody that he did that shit for anybody, and you know what I'm saying and I mean I see that now, but I also see like I went through my 20s too, and I wouldn't have been ready for no goddamn kid in my 20s,
Right.
and I'm pretty sure he was also not ready for no goddamn kid in his 20s. And then he married this crazy woman, and now there ain't nothing he can do about it. And
But that's a situation.
you
I
know
think
what I mean?
that's all our parents really.
I feel like
And if she's a woman, no offense, I love you all. If you're listening, you're crazy. With just a little bit.
oh, I think my mom is the cream of the crop. I hung up on her for being over dramatic with Dad the other. We were talking on video chat.
Yeah.
Because now I've got, I told you I got my grandma on Alexa
My
for Christmas,
God.
so I could see my grandma when I talk to her.
My mom couldn't even figure out a universal remote.
My mom was accusing people of stealing her goddamn chlorine pills.
Oh jeez.
And I was like, Mom, it
Over
ain't-
video chat.
Yeah, well, this was going on when I called them, and she was like, and poor Dad was on the floor looking for him,
Ugh.
doing his best, and then he couldn't find them, and so I was like, Mom, nobody stole your fucking chlorine pills. Now, if it's a fucking Vicodin or some shit like that, yeah,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I could
yeah.
understand, but not for your goddamn chlorine pills. Nobody's stealing those, Mom.
But your dad did everything he could.
My
to
dad was doing.
appease.
My dad did everything he could, and then he got up and finally got tired, so he got up and sat down because poor man probably worked like 12 hours that day as
Right.
it is, and he's retired, by the way.
Oh, that's
and-
how. Yeah.
And,
Nobody's retired
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially older generations, man. They don't retire.
And he
I don't think we're gonna retire either, brother.
Yeah, well, I got some bad news. I'm either going to retire or I'm going to shoot up somebody.
I can't. So
You ain't taking this from me, goddamn
just
it.
saying. I've been in radio my whole life. I'm gonna have to work up until the smoke break of the funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know,
I can't, man. I'm on the air. I can't lay in the casket yet. Hold on.
right.
the part that pissed me off with Mom though was when she was like, "Well, it's okay. It's just my medicine that I have to take every night so I don't start itching.
That's what moms do,
But
man.
it'll be okay. I'll just itch all night."
Yeah.
And so my answer to that was, "Okay, good. I'm glad we got that settled." So how are you? What else is going on?
Now that we're past that,
It's okay. I'm fine. No, really.
And then,
Really?
when that didn't generate the response that she wanted, it became, "Well, your daddy." And so I just
Oh,
clicked.
man.
I'm like, I'm not dealing with your shit.
Yeah.
You're gonna act like a human, or I'm not gonna fucking
Yep.
interact with you.
I know that one too, man. Fuck yeah.
Dad has to put up with this. Dad thinks he has to put up with this, but I know I don't.
Hey, that's his wife, not yours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want some parting questions for you guys that we didn't already get to tonight.
All right.
What's the most important thing you want your kids to learn from you? Either one of you guys can start. And you can also chip in too, Dustin.
I would like for
assuming
them
that
to
you would have
learn
kids someday.
to bury their shit.
bury
take their
shit.
own shit out.
But you know what? There's something to that. Like, I want my kids to learn that it's okay to not be like me, and that they can do things and experience things on their own without my input. That they don't need me to go live their life.
They don't need.
Like, I'll be there for them, but that they can do things on their own.
Yeah.
That's what I want, ultimately. I want my kids to stand on their own.
Okay, that's a good answer. I like that one. Biscuit.
Oh shit!
I know.
That was fucking good,
That
bro.
was a good one.
Sorry, man.
Ah.
I talk for a
You've been
living.
winning all the answers so far,
You've been
dude.
nailing
No.
it too, man. No, there's no right or wrong, though.
No, there's
For
not.
Cooper, how to be a man
Mm-hmm.
and how to treat a woman,
There you go.
That's a good
and for
one.
Charlie,
That's a good one.
how a woman should be treated and to be independent.
Oh,
That she
dude.
doesn't need.
A man.
You know, she just doesn't. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't.
You and I are
do
in,
you.
in a horrible position because we have daughters,
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
other thing that I was.
and the things that we like to do, somebody one day is going to like to do that with our daughter.
See,
Right.
I don't need that kind of negativity in my life.
It's
Scott.
It's not
Right.
negativity, though. We're going to have to ultimately prepare for that because as fucking nasty and gross that we are, oh my God! Oh, sweet Jesus, dude! I've got a little one with my girlfriend who is absolutely fucking nasty, just like me. And this kid is like 6. Okay, he's probably going to be the worst thing the world has ever seen. This kid is going to fuck everything that moves. I know it. I just know it. He's going to be a little hormone monster running around. And the daughter upstairs is going to be one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say so. Every I don't really worry for Charlie.
Really?
Yeah,
Not yet? Or you just...
she's gonna hold her own.
Katie will too.
I'm like
Katie's not afraid to cut a motherfucker.
100%. Like Charlie's fucking strong, and she is very very kind and compassionate. But she's gonna be a bad bitch one day.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think, and this is just what I have picked up off of what you guys have said about your families and what I know about mine. You had a motivated family that did teach you a good work ethic, but they didn't teach you that direct. You learned it from watching his example.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And see, my family never had that. At the end of the day, like, they'd bitch about each other, but they wouldn't actually get up and do something about
They
it.
wouldn't lead.
Yeah. They would never, like, my dad hated his job, and instead of, like, getting up and doing something about it, he'd just take it out on me. Like, he hated his family. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Every father should remember one day his son will follow his example, not his advice.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know what I mean? That environment is ultimately, like, if you do all the shit you're supposed to do as a man, I think,
Yes.
unless
think
your
you're
kid
right.
is just fucked up in the head or something, like, you're going to have your obvious, like, fucking,
Your Jeffrey Dahmers.
yeah, you're going to obviously
Yeah.
have your,
Ted Bundy's.
what
But
do
you know
call
what?
it?
There's a time and a place for psychopaths.
There is. We need them.
To
We
everything
needed
there is a
them
season.
at
Yeah.
one point. You're absolutely
In the fucking
right.
earth.
Yeah,
What about
now-
you, Dave?
Now we've got
What
all
do you
these
mean?
fucking cameras and shit
Oh,
and too many
um,
people.
Right.
What was the question?
What about you, Dave? What's the thing that you want for your children ultimately?
What's the most important thing you want your kids to learn from you? Dude, just to be be kind to people and try to leave the world a better place than it was when you got here.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
Yeah.
That is a good one.
That really is.
You know?
Our kids are the ones who has to change.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we're on a dark path right now.
But
Yeah.
And we're on a nostalgic path. Everyone wants to go back to when our parents were around, or when grandparents were big and popular. You know, that was only great for those people, not for everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, America wasn't that awesome in the 60s and 70s for black people, for instance.
No.
Do you think things are harder for fathers today or fathers when we were
Today.
kids? You think it's harder to be a dad today than it was 30, 40 years ago?
I disagree.
Okay, so Biscuit.
I disagree.
Okay, so Biscuit, you go first. Why do you think that
Why do you think it's easier today?
Oh, easier today? No, I think it's harder today.
Why do you think it's harder today?
Yeah,
harder
my
to
bad.
No, you're solid. Harder today. There's so many more image issues that you have to deal with.
Social media, bro.
Yes.
Social media is a pain.
So my kids are going to have to grow up looking at we'll grow up looking at someone somewhere in the world that it assumes to be a lot better life than what they have when that person is just renting that Lamborghini
Right.
or is bouncing checks. But
Right.
they're living that life on that social media as, because
Yeah.
whenever I post on social media, I don't post my fails. Why would you do that?
Sure, nobody
Yeah.
ever does. Really.
Yeah. I only post my wins.
Sure, of
because
course.
you want to be,
You want to put that out there. That's the image you want to
and
project.
that is what my kids have to grow up seeing, that these people are perfect all the time. Well, these people have this all the time. And then people are fucking mean today.
Yeah.
They
I will
are
give you that.
mean.
People
And-
were mean when we were kids. Well, when I was a
Yeah.
kid.
but that's the
they
thing.
were always
People
mean.
were mean to your face.
Not necessarily. Not kids.
But now it's that somebody's going to send you a direct message that doesn't know shit about you, that has never met you, anything.
Now
but
that I'll give
they
you.
somehow got a hold of something that you had and just didn't like it and wanted to be a hateful, hatred, demon person.
And literally tell you should
That
kill yourself.
You should kill
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
And people do that
Yeah.
Yeah.
all the fucking time.
That
Yeah.
ain't
And
cool,
then
man.
and then you have just so much influence of just negativity pushing down and weighing on these little ones of
Yeah.
are you a boy or are you a girl? You could be whatever you want. You could be whatever you want in a certain circumstance, the way I look at it, without getting into it.
Yeah.
But the hard truth is, you can't be whatever you want. I can't be a fucking Michael Jordan for a fucking reason.
Right.
But at the same time, you need that reality check, and there is no reality. Almost getting to be there is no reality anymore.
Yeah.
That people think that
Reality exists on the phone.
Yeah.
Right.
These Oculuses and you can go into these worlds and you can do these things, and everybody wants to carry a gun and shoot up a fucking school because you're getting blasted on the fucking media and you're making yourself a name. You're a villain.
Yeah.
Being a villain today is
It's a way to get
being
famous.
a superhero back in the day.
Yeah.
You get more attention. You get more.
But were you really a superhero back in the day? That's what
Yeah.
you need to ask yourself.
But it's like sex and drugs and rock and roll sell.
yes, advertising
Yes.
shapes the future.
What can it is like what we talked about earlier. It's the shock factor. How can I get a shock?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go shoot a school up and then off my fucking self, and I'll be down in the fucking history books.
Yep.
Doesn't matter how I got in those history books, but you will say my name one fucking
Yeah.
day.
You'll know my
Well, I
name.
mean, that's because, the previous generation, our generation, when they fucking did that Columbine shit, the media blasted it and made those kids famous, and now they're seeing that shit on Wikipedia.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I'm gonna be something.
Yeah.
I can't put forth effort to be anything because I'm just a lazy piece of shit and don't have a work ethic.
Well-
but if I applied myself, I could.
Listen,
but
man.
I'm gonna go fuck somebody up, and then
It might not even be I'm a lazy piece of shit. It might just be my parents have drilled into my head that I'm just a piece of shit, and I don't see any other
Yeah.
way out.
Take it from a lazy piece of shit. the being a lazy piece of shit thing
Just kidding.
is when it's instilled into your fucking psyche at a certain age that it becomes your normal.
Yeah.
It becomes you. Yeah.
It becomes part. You do it habitually without thinking, like almost out of a reflex.
Yeah.
But you know that right
But
there
when
is
you-
perfect emotional abuse.
But when you're a lazy piece of shit, it's the exact same thing. Like it was instilled at a young age, and then like for me as an adult, I don't like that quality about me, so I have to fight to change it.
Yes.
But I also have to fight that my normal that I'm gonna when I start to let off the gas and is I'm gonna sit on the couch and eat a whole bag of chips and watch TV all day, and I have to actively fight against that. You know what I'm saying?
Everyone
Yeah.
has to actively fight against that, man. That urge to just
I think
give
some
up.
people can
Yeah.
just fucking go and go and go, and if I don't see some reward for my effort in a time frame that leaves me to believe that this effort is worth it,
Sure. Then
Yeah.
it's easy to fall into that.
then it's easy to say fuck it.
yeah.
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 Yeah, I'm not getting anything from it.
Yeah, I
I'll
can-
just go
I-
back to what's comfortable.
I can
Yeah.
fall into those ruts sometimes for sure. Yeah.
Well, as
And
humans,
that's my own
it's
flaw,
easy to
though.
go back to the comfort.
At this point, I'm my own fucking man. I'm out
Yeah.
of there. I have identified what things it is that I do negatively. I've identified, granted, a lot of that was my upbringing, and that is the cause, but I have to turn around and try to be the effect, and that's a lot easier fucking said than done.
Oh yeah, man.
Most
Oh
definitely.
god.
Everything is.
Okay, I'm going to leave you guys with a tough question. What would you do if your kid, I'll say, what would you do, Biscuit, if Cooper, when he gets a little bit older, if he came to you and said, Dad, I think I'm gay? What would your reaction be?
Get on mic, Dave.
Sorry.
No problem. I have two answers for that.
You can go first if you want,
Yeah,
Scott.
let's go with
you
that
need a
one.
minute?
Okay.
You need a minute?
You need a minute?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool.
Okay, deep down, I'm gonna be like motherfucker. And the only reason I'm gonna be that way is because
Your dad?
my dad.
Yeah.
My dad. And B is I'm the last of my line, so I need you to give me a pup so we can keep rolling.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I need a male heir from you so my name keeps going, man. Come on, bro. I need that from you.
I got two boys,
But
so
at the
if one of
same
them's gay, it's
time-
cool.
But at the same
got a
time,
backup plan.
you got an heir and a spare.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I love him.
Sure,
And
of course.
if that's what he wants,
Yeah.
who am I to tell him?
Yeah.
Especially with the lifestyle I live.
Okay, here's an even
I
tougher
can't.
one.
I can't tell him no.
What would you do if he told you he wanted to transition into being a girl?
No. I can cut that
He
one
needs
quick.
to be out on his own,
Yeah.
supporting himself, and in my opinion, a minimum of 25
Yeah, before he can.
before he should
Make a
even
decision
think
like
about
that.
transitioning.
Yeah.
He needs to do this.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
I
so
feel-
he can because once he starts, there's
You can't go back.
That would be a
Yeah.
rough one, bro.
Dude, and
I
and-
just saw where a couple of dudes who have transitioned into woman are suing their doctors for performing surgeries on them because they say that they talked them into the surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's cool either. I do feel like, dude, when I was a kid, I mean, think of all the weird fucking things kids think of one day and then they're on to something new the next day. Like any
Yeah.
kid, if you give them enough time, if you give any kid enough time, they're going to come to
Absolutely.
you and tell you, I think I'm gay or I think I'm a trans. Like, I do feel like, especially the surgery part of it.
Yeah,
When
that's-
they're young kids, I feel like, man,
That
like,
needs to be at least an adult decision to make.
I feel like
I agree.
Your
yeah.
brain's not forming and it's not firing on all cylinders
I'm not
at 13
coming
to 15.
at that like from a judgmental place. I'm
Right.
coming at that from a place of like
Wisdom.
This kid doesn't even, when I was that age, I had no idea who I was.
He didn't even fucking know what he wants.
Man.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, it's a tough question.
I mean, in my day, you could still probably do that, but your peers would sort it out, and when you got to school, and
I mean, yeah.
I'm not saying that's the right way to go about it, but
Right.
I mean,
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've said before, when it comes at least when it comes to hitting your kids, I believe if your kid needs an ass whooping, his friends will take care of that for you.
yeah.
Not every kid has that system though now.
Yeah. You can't.
Now you can't do that. When we were kids, fuck yeah, your friend, if you were being an asshole, he'd pop you in the mouth and all was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I deserve that. All right, let's move on.
Now you have to be sensitive.
Now everybody has safe space. That's just it. Like, could you imagine your dad's trying to, getting so pissed that he would recognize that you needed a safe space and that his words were hurting and oh my fucking God, my dad he just would have melted down. He wouldn't
Yeah.
have made
Just
it today.
imploded.
I would have
would
got
not
it
have
so
made it
much
today.
worse.
Yeah.
He would have gotten canceled today.
Yeah.
I would have had it so much worse if I ever said any shit like that to my dad.
Oh my God, man.
My grandpa, my badass grandpa, he had a belt, but he never had to actually use it on me
My grandpa.
because I was afraid.
Your grandpa was like Pootie Tang, I have a feeling. He just was there. Daddy Tang was everywhere, and you just smack him for looking at an apple wrong or something. Don't look at that apple wrong, boy.
I remember. I mean, I pretty vividly remember one night as a kid pissing him off to the point where he took the belt out. Yeah, I remember that.
So was badass grandpa like your father figure?
Yes.
Yeah.
More so than my actual dad, for sure. Same.
Same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, when I
The
look,
man that did no wrong.
when I look, that's definitely the example that I look at as far as how type of father I would like to be. I definitely look more at my grandfather than I do at my actual father. It's not even close.
I've had enough time. I feel like I'm an adult now because I can reflect back and know that I don't want to leave my kids I don't want to leave them feeling alone or worthless or unloved or scared of me.
Yeah.
Like my dad did to me.
Yeah.
That's how I'm not keeping that going. I'm breaking the cycle right fucking there, man.
That's the best part.
And it's
And,
when
that's-
you can see it, and you see it come back around again.
And that's what being a fucking man is.
Yeah.
It's
I think you're
literally
right.
is owning up to your shit.
Yeah, I
and
think
that,
you're right.
And that's what a lot of our fathers did.
Yep.
And grandfathers is they owned up to their shit, which a lot of people nowadays don't fucking do.
To a degree that they didn't care about your feelings. They
For sure.
still owned it, but they didn't give a shit about you. I'm doing
And they
it anyway.
and they provided for you.
Yes.
And you had food in your bellies. You had
What
a
do you
roof
got to
over your
bitch
head. Yeah.
Exactly.
But but that's how I feel. It's like my dad never hugged me. My dad never, I kiss Cooper on the forehead,
Right.
always and shit like that. So I kiss my son on the cheek. I hug him. I tell him I love him. I do the same thing for Charlie and Cooper. Like I broke, like you said, that cycle of what my dad wouldn't do for me, because but I will, own up to all my shit. I will own up to all my failings, and I want my kids to see.
Yes.
I failed. I overcame. You can do this.
Yeah.
Just as much as I can.
I'm breaking the cycle just by being there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, man.
You're doing a huge
That's right.
part.
And
And same with you too. You're doing an extremely huge part.
Just by
Regardless
being
of-
there.
Yeah.
Well,
And not in as much as you
try
don't
not to
feel,
murder them.
Yeah.
Well, just the fact that you would even think for us to have this as a topic on a podcast tonight tells me that you're not a bad dad.
No, you really aren't. As much
You
as
know what I mean?
I'll
Because
give you
you're
that
at
one,
least
man.
thinking about it, and
Yeah.
and you're conscious of it. And
That's
Yeah.
that's the hardest part, man. To
Yeah.
know, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Dude, we all fuck up.
All right.
We all do.
Right.
I mean, bro, we all let a fart slip when it's not supposed to.
On the regs.
But at times you apologize for it, and
when
you
you're
fucking
hugging
let
a
it
man
go.
and he looks at you and goes, "Did you just fart?"
Yeah.
Because you
Like,
blew
oh my
me
God,
away.
I'm so sorry I didn't.
Is on the regs a phrase, or did I just make that up? On the regs.
I
I
think
don't
it's on
know.
the
We're gonna have to check Urban Dictionary when we get into After
I'm
Hours.
gonna add that shit.
But no, dude, back to it. I'm dead serious. You are a lot better father than what you you think.
I'm better than what my father was.
But you're better than what you honestly
You know.
think. Like you are doing a great job.
I'm trying.
Hopefully-
One providing for your fucking kids, and as much as you think that they're not happy, you're seeing the negative times.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, there is a lot more positive and happier times that
Yeah.
the negative is so dark. Sometimes
Oh,
it's hard to
it's-
see that flashlight.
It's so
Sure.
easy to just believe the negative too.
It
Yeah.
is.
It is.
Absolutely. You get
But it's
into those
because that
negative thought
negativity
patterns.
was ingrained in you
100%.
Exactly.
at a
100%.
small age, and you got
But
to.
and you recognize it to break that fucking cycle.
Yeah, man.
And you
Dude,
got to realize that the thoughts that you have aren't necessarily the actual reality of things. Because
So,
I get into those dark thoughts.
As someone
sometimes.
who is big into karma, is just thinking it, putting it out into the world.
Thinking what?
Like, whatever. Like, I got this boss
Yeah.
that I have murdered this motherfucker. I'm talking jigsawed this dude,
Yeah.
like from
Wanna
the
play a
Saw
game?
movies. Right. Like,
Yes.
hey, motherfucker. I've killed him.
Yeah.
In my head, I have killed him. I've wiped his entire family from the face of the earth.
Yeah, it's probably not the best thing to be having.
And I'm
with
just,
that.
I'm just simply
Not
stating,
the-
I've never done any of it, but I've put an enormous amount of thought into it. So
think,
is that still karmic retribution coming
Yes.
back to bite you in the ass?
Yeah, I think every thought is.
man, I think that
I mean, it can't be like that, though.
we to a certain extent we don't necessarily have control over the thoughts that enter our head, but what we do have control over is how we react to those
The
thoughts.
actions that
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
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 So, like, had I actually killed this motherfucker, then
Then that would
then
definitely
that would
be
have
some
came
karma.
back, right?
Yeah.
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 Okay. Good.
Yeah.
God, I was worried about that.
Hold up.
It's like these people that have these fantasies about sexual things with kids. Like I don't
that's a whole other
I don't
topic,
understand
bro.
that.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. But like even if I did have those thoughts, there's no fucking way I would actually act on this.
Because you're not a Catholic priest.
Right. I'm not.
Because the situations in your life have not shaped you and warped you to find that particular
for it to be acceptable.
topic acceptable and attractive.
Because
Yeah.
it's not.
Because it's out of the ordinary, though. Some people can't help what they're attracted to. But at the same time, you are responsible for your actions, like Dave said. So if I'm attracted to a fucking pig and I want to stick my dick in it,
Well, that's a little different now. Don't you go putting them damn pedos
Here
in
comes the fucking Mississippi now.
that seems to be fine. But if you want to go put your dick in a little kid, that's the downside. But only in the last, 300 years? Because Romans were doing it.
the Romans loved
Romans
fucking
loved
kids.
little
Yeah,
kids.
Yeah.
Little boys.
Yep.
There was
Oh,
whole-
not even the last 300 years.
and look
We
how
had
they ended up
presidents.
dead.
Think
Yeah,
about that.
but-
Our grandparents were marrying 13-year-olds and shit, dude.
Yeah, but they themselves were 13. Or you would
Right.
have the
Not
the,
always. The girl
you
was
would
13.
you would have the
man
weird
would be a
offset where the
fucking
man
30.
would be like 76 and the girl would be 13.
Sure.
But you also have to look back.
That
and-
wasn't weird back then.
No, that particular instance it wasn't, because you had to look back then, because that 76-year-old man may not have had a relationship with her, but he was securing her future. Like, I had that looking in my family tree. I had a 70-year-old dude who married a 14-year-old girl. They never fucked. They never did anything like that. He was old and had money. She had nothing.
Oh, he set her
He
up.
left his entire estate to her. Then she went out and got married and made my entire family line.
Wow.
I mean,
Where'd that money go,
But
cuz?
see, that's
For every
shit.
one of those,
Two cows
for
and a
every
slave.
one of those,
Bitch.
though, I mean, you got your slave owning fucking people that, you know what I mean, like.
But
back
you know
in
what?
those
Back in the
days,
day,
and-
that was a means of securing your wealth. That was the only
Yeah.
way you could secure wealth.
It's a gray area.
Back in
I
the
feel.
day,
I mean,
you
it's-
also married your first cousin, second cousin.
Gross.
I have inbreeding in my family tree all the way up till 2 generations ago.
I probably did.
Till
too.
last
It's
week,
the
I
South.
swear.
I mean, I saw him 3 days ago. I tried kissing her at the family reunion.
Ain't no thing going to
Picking up chicks at the family reunion ain't no
I
thing.
think you go back far enough back in your family tree. I
Everyone.
think most of us do.
yeah.
Everyone has it. I guarantee it.
Especially if we're royalty.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
You're not
Keep
here
that
if you're
shit pure.
royalty. You're not here if you're royalty.
Yeah.
No.
Boys,
not
do you have any
really.
parting thoughts?
If the bloodline is too pure, you get the crazy kings and the monarchs that go mad and they just don't say anything, and those guys are gone, man.
Yeah, but you can be the offspring of an offspring of an offspring of an offspring that was a knocked up peasant that
I guess you could have a touch of it in you.
yeah.
Yeah. But man, to have a full blood, whew, that'd be a rough one.
Because you
bro.
know the king was, you know, he'd be
Oh,
walking through the city. He'd see a little peasant girl looking kind of cute with that messy bun.
it's good to be the king.
And
Yeah, it must be.
You know,
I don't know. It seems like it would be pretty stressful too, though. I don't know.
I would not want the job.
Boys, do you have any parting thoughts?
You guys are great fucking dads.
Aw,
You
thanks,
really
buddy.
are.
be better
Both
than
of
your
you.
dad.
Be
From
better
my-
than your dad.
yeah.
I like
From
it.
my observation and just what I've seen and what I've heard from you guys when we weren't talking about this and when we're off air and shit, I can say that your kids definitely have it a whole lot better than I did. And you're definitely not shitty parents at all.
I think
Thanks,
that's-
buddy.
For sure.
I think that's the mark of a good parent if they're like, "Fuck, I'm terrible."
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
know?
You got to be self-reflective.
Right?
Yeah.
What can I do better?
That's what I'm gonna take away from
That's what I
tonight,
try.
boys.
What
That's
can
what
I
I'm
do
gonna take
better?
away from tonight.
You know?
I'm not a shitty dad. 'Cause Dustin
Hey!
said so.
Because
Not a
Now,
shitty
my
dad.
opinion, I mean,
Yeah. I
No, I mean,
I could be wrong.
I could be wrong. If one of you goes to Casey Anthony's next week and then we're all sitting here in shock on the next fucking episode.
you mean I'm gonna get away with it?
No. Biscuit might. He's the only one of us that can flirt our way out of that situation like she did.
Dear God.
Good episode tonight, boys.
You got it.
was.
Thanks for
Yes.
tuning in, folks. We
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Come to After Hours on patreon.com/the old77pocket.
We're gonna do a normal after hours.
Yeah,
like
it's
a
gonna get
normal
crazy
show.
over there.
It
Let's do
probably
it.
won't be super long, but we'll do one for you. Head on over patreon.com/the old77podcast.
Get your ass over there. What the fuck are you doing here?
Thanks for hanging with us tonight. It was new. It was different. Let us know if you liked it.
That's
if you'd
right.
like more like real content. I think
right.
that's the mark of a good host. If you can do good shit and then turn around and do something silly and then turn around and do something that everybody can relate to, like this.
Message
Everyone
us.
can relate.
Versatility.
Send us
Exactly.
a message on our Facebook and tell us what you thought about
Let us
this
know.
episode, please.
Absolutely.
That's
Until then, be good. Be better. We'll see you later.
See y'all next week.
Peaches.
I was hoping somebody'd do that.
I was trying to keep it,